$3 million no-bid contract package rigged with the help of former CPS CEO Barbara Byrd Bennett, who was supposed to get kickbacks. She pled guilty to wire fraud last year and faces up to 7.5 years in prison. The Emanuel administration says it needs to do more to control valet parking companies that routinely violate the law. Chicago Business Affairs commissioners telling aldermen that a recent investigation found 2/3 of the 388 licensed valet parking operators were violating city ordinances, mostly by leaving cars parked illegally. Chicago sports, LA beat the Cubs 6-0, while in the NHL was the Blackhawks over Philadelphia 7-4. In that game, Marian Hossa gets career goal number 500. The news service of Staples with low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP Office Jet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details, restrictions, and limitations that may apply. Staples, make more happen. 5:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes it's time to compromise.
So you can't align yourself with people who have some odious aspects to their personal life. This is the rule now from the right. One of the reasons that they win and we don't. They align themselves with anybody and march on in the crushing of America as America. But you will do it in good conscience.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Joyce called to lower her rate and pay her loan off in 27 years. I helped Joyce secure a 27-year fixed loan, saved her $45 a month, and paid all her closing costs. $45 a month might not sound like a lot, but Joyce will apply the savings to her new mortgage payment to pay her loan off in 25 years and save her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. I lowered Joyce's rate, payment, and saved her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. If you want to see if I can help you like I helped Joyce, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from pets, kids, and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian & Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian & Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian & Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian & Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian & Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
5:08. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. We're seeing heavy delays on northbound side of I-55 from Cass to County Line. There's overnight construction there. It is late in clearing. Travel time has jumped to 50 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's 24 from the Tri-State. It is fine outbound. About Bishop Ford, a little slow Cottage Grove to the Ryan. Some overnight work in that area has cleared. Also the ramp from the outbound Bishop Ford, from inbound I-57 to the outbound Bishop Ford, that has reopened. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. With quality parts and more than 90 years of experience, Napa Auto Parts can help you keep just about anything on the road. Just stop by your local Napa store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 70, then a mostly cloudy night along with a shower, low of 50. Then a shower still around for the morning tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be a breezy day. Clouds will give way to some sun with a high of 59. Tomorrow night, clear to partly cloudy with a low 40. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 52 at O'Hare, 60 along the lakefront. Next news at 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amy, I'll tell you what, when we made the bet, I'm feeling a little bit bad about the Cubs-Dodgers bet, because when we made the bet, I knew they had Clayton Kershaw in their starting rotation. I did not know they had Cy Young as well. And so I think it is a little unfair.
Oh, that guy Hill who hasn't pitched in a year or something?
And as old as Cy Young. He hasn't, No, he's pitched this year.
He hasn't pitched in this is his first start in the postseason.
Well, right. He's a former Cub. They're not used to the postseason.
Oh.
So I mean, I think it's a little Rich Hill. Now he's going back to coach his little league team. He's like a middle-aged suburban dad. Looks like Tim Kaine.
I know. And the guy pitching tonight, I guess, is 20 years old. So it should be. It's great. So a shutout. And people headlines: Cubs are crumbling, and Cub fans are trying not to panic, trying not to cry, but it's all right, Dan.
I mean, a legitimate question. Take your calls on this, 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro. Answer line, your text is 64636DA. That's the Turnkey.pro text line. Have the Cubs scored their last run in the postseason for the 21st century?
Wow.
Do you think?
You're going deep. That's kind of
I think
soon.
I think it's possible.
No, I think offense is going to get back. I mean, what? They had 2 hits yesterday. Chris Bryant had 2 hits. And Anthony Rizzo stole a base, so that was good. And that's what's going to turn things around now. And now everything's going to be fine.
And now you're going out there for the game.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be Anthony Rizzo's slump buster, are you? since you've introduced the topic.
I might be able to tap on Rich Hill, but I'm a little too old to be Anthony Rizzo slump buster.
Yeah.
No, I'm wearing the same outfit that I wore on Saturday. I mean, from the socks to everything is the same, and I'm bringing my little towel because I have a towel too, Dan. I'm just bringing it all.
That W towel's not getting a lot of use these days.
You know what the problem is? I think everybody has jinxed it. Everybody put up their W flags yesterday, but we didn't win yesterday.
Right.
And now today, if I saw some flags flying, it's like you only fly that when you win.
But that's the Cubs fan.
When you don't win, you take it down.
That's the Cubs fan. Win, lose. What's the difference? It's all the same.
So what are you predicting now? Perhaps I think we're gonna.
I'll stick with my original prediction of Dodgers in 6. It's tracking pretty well.
Oh, really?
Tracking
I think we're gonna win 3 straight.
Do you?
Tonight, and then we're gonna bring it back here on Saturday. So we'll win tonight, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll win again on Friday.
You're going to have to beat Clayton Kershaw
to
win 3 in a row.
I understand that, but it can be done.
No, it's possible. Sure, it's possible. Is it likely?
about
So
that.
I'm going to the airport after. You're going to take me to the airport, right?
Yeah, I'm still a little nervous about the Cubs, but I'm a lot less nervous than I was going into the
really?
series. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to the game,
You know,
then
Jay-
watch the debate, and then take a red eye back. I
the-
did something very technological.
It's the rock and roll
got,
lifestyle you lead. Lead.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'm going with my high school gym teacher,
It's nice you two could stay in touch. It's not strange.
Harvey Foster. No, he's friends with our family. We've been friends for a long time. Kept that relationship going.
Did you?
After high school? No, he's friends with my mom. It's not creepy.
Mm.
Come on.
Does he like call you, remind you to set your
Jake.
clocks back and
Yeah.
set them forward a couple times
Make
a
sure
year?
I'm still doing my calisthenics. Still doing the sprints and
Uh-huh.
yeah. And then my uncle. So it'll be fun. And we're going to win. It's okay. Everybody calm down. Oh, and your guy, Hines Ward, remember him? He was reporting on the Cubs this morning. He got a job. He's a sportscaster at CNN at 3 a.m.
So what?
I think it's great.
Here's Grandal. Yes,
Oh, wait, that's not him.
I'm sure Chicago fans are starting to get a little nervous because their Cubs had the best record in baseball, and they were favorites to win the World Series before the season started. And nothing went as planned for the Cubbies last night. Dodgers catcher Yasmani Grandal, who hadn't had a hit all series, jacks a 2-run home run off Cubs star pitcher Jake Arrieta. Now,
All right,
Cubs fans...
can you stop
it's
this?
Jake Arrieta or whatever.
I mean, I like Hines Ward doing color on football games, and I'm a
Right.
huge Steelers fan, so I'm a huge Hines
That's
Ward
why
fan.
I brought it to you.
But
What do you think?
I don't that cadence needs some work.
Yeah, it's a little flat.
By the way, there is something about Cubs fans. We mentioned this yesterday when we subbed for Michael Medved in the afternoon. But there's been some research done in terms of Republican, Democrat trending, and as well as low turnout versus high turnout based on the sports teams to which one affiliates as a fan. And I mean, the Cubs, what about this, Cubs fans? All these people call in and they castigate me for not jumping on the Cubs bandwagon, and they say they're Trump voters. According to the research, Cubs fans pretty far left, skew pretty far to the left on the Leesburg grid of Democrat, Republican, high turnout, low turnout. I mean, really only like the San Francisco Giants is the only baseball team to the left of the Cubs in terms of voting patterns plus turnout. Boston Red Sox, yeah, pretty close too. But I mean, so you don't want Cubs fans. You want Cubs fans, I guess, focused on baseball and not focused on the
Right.
election because they're not helpful.
What about the WNBA? Because I'm a big fan of the Chicago Sky.
You are?
Oh, yeah, I love the Chicago Sky. I've actually been to a game. Have you been to a game, Dan?
No, I haven't.
Do you want to go to a game?
I don't. It's interesting you asked that because I know this is gonna kind of break Mike Scott's heart.
What?
The WNBA, if you go just by leagues, professional sports leagues, not specific teams, but leagues, they've also mapped this. Same thing, Democrat, Republican, high turnout, low turnout. The WNBA, if you're a WNBA fan, you are so far left, you've almost come all the way back to the right. I mean, it is alone on an island. It's kind of like baseline turnout, but it is so far left. I mean, it is.
Fine. What about
It is.
How far left is it, Dan?
It's 50% left of women's tennis fans. I mean, really. So, no.
Well, what about your favorite sport? What, football, basketball? What are you feeling these days? How are you feeling?
My favorite sport. You're talking about pro rodeo.
Yeah. What
or
about the gay rodeo?
NHRA drag racing.
I'm sure drag racing's
Drag
way
racing.
right.
It skews right, which is good, but it's a little bit low turnout.
Really?
Yeah, the gearhead's spending too much time on the track and forgetting to go to the polls. So it's just kind of interesting. But I mean, the Cubs thing. So all of the heat I'm taking for not being a Cubs fan. I'm doing a public service here. Cubs fans are disproportionately leftists, and they vote.
Are you enjoying yourself right now?
Yeah, I really am.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Good-looking ladies. Hey, forecast for today, it's going to be mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds, a High of 70 degrees tonight, a shower likely, and tomorrow we're going to have a morning shower in the area. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun, breezy, cooler, a high in the upper 50s. Let's get those travel times and say good morning to Jim Telemonte.
Good Wednesday morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Inbound Stevenson, it's just a mess. From past Lamont Road to County Line, overnight road work is very late now and clearing. 55 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, which is 24 from the Tri-States. If you get on at 294, you're okay. Everything past that is fine, but from Lamont Road to County Line, it's brutal. Elsewhere, it's pretty quiet. A little heavy on inbound I-57. About 1 or 2 minute delay. Inbound Bishop Ford at Sibley. There's a 3-car crash just reported. Police and IDOT are responding, and it's a little heavy Cottage Grove to the right. Tollway's all good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Dan Proft here, guys. When it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol numbers, but do you know your testosterone number? Yeah, your testosterone number. I know mine, thanks to my friends at Low T Center. Low T Center made it so easy for me. I walked in, took a simple blood test, and thanks to the convenience of their on-site lab, got my testosterone results in just 20 minutes. Voila, that easy. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, lack of motivation, or just a down mood as you've gotten older, you may very well have low testosterone. Low T levels can make you feel grumpy and tired, can even raise your cholesterol or cause weight gain. At Low T Center, treatment is covered by most health insurance, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm glad I did. You owe it to yourself to call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Give my friends at Low T Center a call and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call 630-409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors, so now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you think I'm enjoying the Dodgers' success. I pale in comparison to 773. Why does God hate the Cubs?
Why, Dan?
Because he wants to be like everyone else. Why? What's black and brown and looks good on a Cubs fan?
What?
A Doberman. Wow.
That's so mean.
It's hardcore, 773.
Can you take that Fly the W sticker down? Because they didn't win last night, and I'm very superstitious.
Yeah.
Do you think me wearing the same outfit I wore Saturday is going to make the difference, Dan?
Here, you hang on to that. You can wear that tonight.
I'm not gonna...
Upside down W is in distress. All right. So yesterday we had James O'Keefe on the show. Then we had also James O'Keefe on Michael Medved's show. And kind of breaking news while we had O'Keefe. We talked about the one video that was released on Monday with O'Keefe yesterday on the show. And that detailed mainly two leftist grassroots activists talking about how they purposely incite confrontation, even to the extent of violence at Trump rallies in order to present it to the D.C. press corps for broadcasting and to advance the caricature of all Trump supporters being violent and unhinged and so forth. Then yesterday, O'Keefe posted the second video. Now we move into the rigged portion of the conversation, and this is about voter fraud. Scott Foval, who was clipped yesterday, he's gone. Scott Foval was separated from his position. And then we're talking to James O'Keefe yesterday at Michael Medved's show, and I congratulating him effectively on the one scalp that he got. And he said, I just got a second one. Like in real time, Bob Creamer, Jan Schakowsky's convicted felon husband, Calamity Jan, the congressman from here, the communist congressman representing the near North Shore, Bob Creamer gets clipped. He gone.
Oh.
So
where is he going to get it? I mean, he's a convicted felon. That was probably the only job he could get because can't get a job at McDonald's.
You can always
convicted felon.
Convicted felon, yeah, but you can always get a job as a Democrat Party operative. By the way, this related story: Bob Creamer visited the White House 342 times since 2009. 342 times he visited the White House.
What was he bringing? Hot cross buns? Fruit baskets? Hi, I'm here. I just want to hang out. I mean, what do you do at the White House that many times?
So, well, I'll tell you what I think you do. So Foval, the National Field Director of Americans United for Change, and Creamer is just like the principal of this the shell organization called Democracy Partners, basically just a DBA. The two of them working in concert with one another. Why are you going to the White House that many times? Because you're the black hat, as Scott Foval described Bob Creamer, because you're the conduit for all of this skullduggery at the local level. So you're working with DNC, you're working with Hillary campaign operatives to translate down the mission to the Scott Fovals and others of the world, whether it's to incite violence at Trump events or to engage in voter fraud. The second video that O'Keefe released yesterday gets right into it. Here's Scott Foval, the dearly departed, on busing, what the Democrats have always done and what they're going to continue to do, whether you like it or not, busing people in to vote illicitly.
We did to them when we were in charge, too. So what did we do? We did the exact same thing. Only we manipulated the vote with money and action, not with laws. It's a very easy thing for Republicans to say, well, they're busting people in. Well, you know what? We've been busting people in for 50 years, and we're not going to stop now. We're going to find a different way to do it.
We've been busting people in for 50 years, and we're not going to stop now.
What was the
We're going to find another way to do it. You know,
one of those.
Foval is a bit of a potty mouth. I'm sorry to report.
Yes, I've gotten that.
Maybe he can
think
about
the last video and then this one.
He can think about his choice of vocabulary now that he's got more time on his hands, at least for now. Foval goes on in this video to talk about how he thinks, how he approaches his work. He thinks like an investigator, so as to work around what investigators might be looking for when it comes to illegal activity.
When I do this, I think as an investigator first. Good, yeah. Work backwards, yes. Yeah, that's great. I used to do the investigation. Yeah. A different method. I think backwards from how they would prosecute if they could, and then try to build out the method to avoid that.
I think how they would prosecute if they could, and then try and avoid putting myself in a position to be prosecuted. And he's not saying that like I try and follow the letter of the law. He's like saying this is how I think about it so as to get away with it, just so we're clear. Now, one of the little projects that's profiled in the second video that O'Keefe released, this Project Veritas group that he founded, undercover journalism, kind of on the line along the lines of David Daleiden and his undercover videos, Center for Medical Progress undercover videos of Planned Parenthood.
It reminds me a lot.
And that's
the same.
Yeah, and that's I guess what we've come to now. If you can't rely on the Fourth Estate to, watch those in power, and report on them if they're a particular persuasion, then I guess it's insurgent journalists we're going to have to rely on.
Journalists embedded themselves in the campaign for a year.
Right.
So this wasn't just a fly-by-night, we got them. I mean, they worked their sources. They saw what was going on, and they brought it to the people.
Well, you had to build trust so you could get them to talk openly like they did. So Foval, one of the projects was bringing people from outside of the state of Wisconsin into Wisconsin to vote.
Oh, really?
Which is illegal for those of you scoring at home. You're not a Wisconsin resident. You can't vote in Wisconsin.
What if I have a summer home here?
And not if it's not your
Second
primary residence. That's right. And Foval explained, here's how you do it. Here's how you want to conceive that.
It's the legality. Well, yeah. Because you can prove conspiracy if there's a bus. Yeah. If there are cars, it's much harder to prove. And there's enough money. If there's enough money, then you have people drive their POV. Absolutely. Or you have them drive rentals. Yeah, with Wisconsin license plates. Absolutely. Well, you can't have them with Wisconsin license plates because rentals here, most of them don't have Wisconsin license plates. Oh. But there's these things called used car auctions. Used car auctions, the titles belong to some unknown company. They're company cars. And these are multiple employers. These are not all one employer. Use shell companies. Yeah. The cars come from one company, the features come from another. There's no bus involved, so you can't prove that it's en masse. There you go. So it doesn't tip people off. There you go. That's what I'm saying. See, okay, yeah.
See, so you have people who use their own cars. You got them car auctions. They got Wisconsin plates, so that's one item you can use to prove residency. And there's another piece of this, too, where they get into a company to hire day laborers to have a pay stub to prove that you work. So you've got the two pieces of information you need in order to illegally get registered so you can illegally vote. That's the scheme that they're talking about. And after we have Mike Scott's newscast, we'll get onto the other side with Foval and Creamer laying this out in greater detail.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? You're in luck. Right now, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you'll still get the second one for free, baby. But you'll also receive 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only 1. It's the best offer ever. Nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it's the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees because they made it their official pillow. It's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma, so it's healthy, and you'll sleep better. Visit MyPillow.com. Click the radio listener special tab and use the promo code Joe. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere for the price of 1. Or you can call 1-800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and use the promo code Joe. That's MyPillow.com or 1-800-489-0201.
AM 560, The Answer.
Wow, it's Steve Ducey's birthday today.
I'm sorry, who's that?
Steve Ducey from Fox and Friends.
Oh,
and his son, Peter.
Lord.
His son, Peter's actually a real nice guy. Met him at the RNC.
That's a very nice birthday wish. Okay. How about after Mike Scott's newscast, we pick up this O'Keefe video and take your calls. And also the lesson of just even the first 2 videos that O'Keefe has released with more to come. The lesson for Republicans.
And later, tonight's third and final debate, the new rules, the preparation, and what persona will each candidate possess, and who's bringing who. Wow. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
52 degrees, third and final presidential debate tonight. Right here on AM 560, Trump and Clinton set to square off in Las Vegas. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be going on strike. Union officials announcing early this morning they have reached a tentative deal with the UNO charter school network. 8,000 city students will be in session today. The Cubs trail the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1. Rich Hill out pitching the Cubs last night. 6-0 is your win. It was L.A. hosting Game 4 of the NLCS later on tonight. San Francisco police looking for whoever shot 4 students outside of a high school. Girl in critical condition, 3 boys wounded. Saudi Arabia executes a prince who fatally shot another man in a melee. Such royal executions are rare, but have happened before. Indiana's chief elections official says thousands of voter registrations in that state have been altered. raising concerns about possible fraud. Secretary of State Connie Lawson says Indiana's online voter registration database has not been hacked, but records were changed on paper forms, online, and at Bureau of Motor Vehicle offices. She says she's not sure now why the records were changed. A former LaGrange police officer has been charged in connection with the exploitation of a disabled person. Stephen Neifel pleaded not guilty October 17th to charges of official misconduct, financial exploitation of an elderly person, and theft over $60,000, according to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Los Angeles beat the Blackhawks beat Philadelphia 7-4 with Marian Hossa netting goal number 500. The news a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and printers. The redesigned lightning fast HP Office Jet Pro now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity gives you a free lesson on the economy.
Corporations do not pay taxes.
Well, what do you mean, Hannity? They got to pay something. Everyone's got to pay their fair share.
When they build the product or they provide the service, and let's say the government taxes them at a high rate, what do you think they are going to do? They're going to pass the tax charges on to you.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Half-price Wing Tuesdays now at B-Dubs. Any size order of traditional wings costs half as much, making Tuesdays twice as good. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Valid at participating locations for a limited time.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
5:36, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. Check of the roads, AM 560 Traffic Center time with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-55 has heavy delays from 355 to County Line, where overnight roadwork has finally cleared, but late. It is an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, but just 26 minutes from the Tri-State. There's a slight delay now, Cicero to Kedzie. Outbound clear sailing, and things should improve now that those lanes have reopened near County Line. The Aidens and the Kennedy are clear. Inbound Eisenhower, just a 1 or 2 minute delay. First Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. Ryan looking at 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes. I-80 to the Verge. Beechwood, 35. There's a crash at Sibley blocking the right lane, and more delays kick in at 115th. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. Participating Napa Auto Parts have Castrol motor oil on sale, starting at $3.49 a quart. Your ride runs longer, stronger for less. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 11/13/16. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sunshine with a high near 70. Today, cloudy with a shower and a low of 50 overnight. 52 at O'Hare, 57 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we're talking about the James O'Keefe undercover investigative videos focusing on two Democrat operatives, Black Hat and White Hat, as Scott Foval, one of them, describes the two of them, Foval the Black Hat, Bob Creamer the White Hat. Or no, wait, Creamer's the Black Hat and Foval's the White Hat.
Right, and they're both out of a JOB this morning.
Yes, they are. Creamer, I can't say this enough, he is the convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky, your Communist Party representative in Congress from, the Skokie
I wonder how that
area.
conversation went when she saw those videos. Honey, what we told you to be tough, but not that tough.
So here's, we've detailed Scott Foval's discussions about bringing out-of-staters into Wisconsin to vote and how he thinks about his job. The ends justify the means. Laws are just an obstacle to trying to rig the election for his candidates of choice. That's essentially what Scott Foval said. Foval on Bob Creamer. I think there's a bit of a crush there, actually. It's kind of creepy, but I'll tell you what, you decide for yourself.
So Bob Creamer comes up with a lot of these ideas. I work with Bob Creamer one-to-one all the time. I'm the White Hat. Democracy Partners is kind of the White Hat. I will probably end up being a partner there at some point. Because our philosophy on things is actually the same.
Philosophy's the same, he and Bob, and
It does sound like he has a little bit of a crush on him, a little bromance going.
He mentioned perhaps being a partner at Democracy Partners. I think he meant being a partner
in life,
in a more permanent sense.
Stop it. Conjecture on his part, Your Honor.
Now, included in the video that was released yesterday, now this is the second video. This is not the video that was released on Monday that details the strategies to incite violence at Trump rallies. That's part of the project that Foval and Creamer used to be conducting. Not anymore.
So this one's all on voter fraud.
Yeah, here's an undercover reporter, one of O'Keefe's reporters, talking to Creamer about his plot. And again, this is to present these individuals with the couple pieces of identification they need to illegally register to vote so they can illegally vote. That's the discussion here. That's the backdrop of it. And so this reporter's relating an idea that he got from Foval to temporarily employ Latinos as like day laborers so they have a pay stub so they can use that to illegally register, along with obtaining a car that with Wisconsin plates from like an auto auction so that would be their other piece of identification. Here's that exchange between one of O'Keefe's reporters and Creamer.
Let's say I had a business inside of, say, Illinois or Michigan, and I hired people, and I had addresses for them. I could write them checks for those. I could use them as day laborers or whatever and use them and find my way around the voter registration laws for Hispanics. That's one thing. I'm actually, that idea, when he gave it to me, I was like, that sounds like something, we could register huge numbers of people that way. Well, that kind of thing kind of stuck in my craw when he mentioned it to me.
All right, let me, on that front, I'm going to write down these options. Let me see if I can chat with the people who are most involved in Hispanic voter registration.
Okay.
We'll help you do this. I mean, this is very important, this stuff. Turnout is huge, huge, huge.
Mm-hmm. We'll help you do this. It's very important, this stuff. Turnout is huge, huge, huge. He's saying to get around voter registration laws, and Creamer's not saying, no, that's illegal. We're not doing that. Saying, let me talk to the people in charge of Hispanic voter registration. We're going to help you do this. Turnout is very important. I guess felonious conduct, old habits die hard when it comes to Creamer.
Oh, yeah.
Take a couple calls on this. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what, this is so sad, but I've known about this for a very long time, and that's how Harry Reid won out in Las Vegas or Nevada. But the fact of the matter is, what agency in this country is going to do anything about it? Even if these guys announced on Election Day that they were going to do all of this, what, Department of Justice, FBI, CIA, Department of SHIELD, who? Nobody's going to do anything about it because they're worse than Russia right now. So the saddest part is they can do it, they can say it, and they're going to get away with it, and no one's going to do anything about it. The media thinks it's great because it pushes their cause. So, you know what? Move on. Nothing to see here, folks.
All right, thanks,
Why
Ed.
can't the Republicans bus some voters in? I mean, when he's talking about Nevada, I mean, my gosh, my Aunt Linda, who's been on the show before, she worked for Sharon Engel, and Harry Reid would bus people in, give them breakfast, have them vote, then give them lunch, and then bus them back to their job sites.
Well, you can organize existing voters. There's nothing wrong with that. And Republicans could do a better job of Election Day turnout within the bounds of the law. That's not what we're talking about here. So, no, I don't want to combat voter fraud with voter fraud. That's not the
But is it voter fraud to pick up people and essentially give them money? I mean, they're giving them two meals.
Yes,
that's what they're doing.
Here, at least, you can't pay people to vote. Yeah, that's technically illegal. And now, does it happen?
I got it, Pops.
Obviously. So here's the thing. With respect to what Ed said about, remember, elections are state and local matters. We've got an investigation going on in Indiana next door right now about the possibility of voter fraud, substantial voter fraud, illegal registrations. So local authorities can take the initiative to investigate and prosecute where it's warranted incidents of voter fraud. So that can happen in any of the 50 states. So let's remember that. It's not a federal issue per se. It's a state and local issue. So I would hope Wisconsin authorities, seeing these videos, would be particularly interested in the work of Foval and Creamer. They could be prosecuted there. Potentially, if there's evidence to support they moved beyond the conspiring stage to the implementation stage.
And I have some good news. This is picking up on mainstream media.
Yeah, you're right.
On Mediaite, they have Bob Kramer. There he is. And sometimes the crazies bite. CNN shows undercover video of Democrats plotting Trump protests.
Right. So they're about 2 days late in the news cycle, but at least they're picking it up. I mean,
at least they're there.
When O'Keefe was on with us when we were in for Medved yesterday, he came over the transom as he's talking to us, Bob Kramer, that just got let go from Democracy Partners, or just got jettisoned by the Democrat establishment, essentially. And then he was getting calls from CNN and Business Insider and some of these other outlets that are finally, because of the second,
because
the
Bob
second
Kramer
head
got
rolling,
fired. Yeah.
the second head rolling because he's Jan Schakowsky's husband, that they are picking up the story. So I expect this to be introduced in the debate tonight. So it is worth noting that maybe this story will get amplified, particularly as O'Keefe releases more of these videos, and you get from just the incitement to violence to which is could be legally problematic, to conspiring to rig the election, which seems to be the conversation of the day. Dan, on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, what is, you should look at the connection between Kramer and his meetings at the White House, along with Black Lives Matter, George Soros, and the planners of the riots in both Ferguson and Baltimore. If you cross-reference their meetings in the White House, maybe that's where the money is being transferred from George Soros.
All right, thanks for the call, Ed. One other thing about this, though, and I'm not complimenting Kramer and Foval here, but one of the other things this kind of highlights is sometimes why we lose, the center-right loses elections that we should win. It doesn't happen everywhere. Let's just recall, take a step back, take a wide view, and remember that 60% of governors' mansions and 2/3 of state legislatures are Republican-controlled. So this idea the Republican Party is going away, or the Republican Party is this insular super minority party, maybe in Illinois, but it's not nationally. Okay, so let's just, tamp down some of the hysterics about the end of the Republican Party, greatly exaggerated. But we do lose sometimes, and I'm not suggesting doing what these two goons did, Foval and Kramer, or were trying to do. But the other side is street fighters, because government is their lifeblood, and they will do anything, some of them, many of them, to gain control or hold control, because it's everything they're about. And, the Illinois Republican Party over the last 20 years has been a good example of the bad example, which is cake eaters. Anytime there's scrutiny, anytime there's pushback, anytime the left or their handmaidens in the media attack, Republicans run for the hills. I've seen that over and over again in this state. That is why we are a super minority party. And while I don't agree with Donald Trump's approach all the time, kind of always being on offense and some of being a little bit too offensive on offense in terms of Trump's choices. The idea that he is always on offense, that he is pushing back against people he knows do not have his best interests at heart, is directionally correct. And that actually is a lesson for many of the ninnies in the Illinois Republican Party who run at the first sight of a scolding from the Sun-Times editorial board or other left-wing outlets or left-wing organizations that want to keep Republicans in their super minority status. There is a lesson to be learned here within the bounds of the law, within the bounds of decency. There's a lesson to be learned. Dave and Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Greetings and salutations. Yes, you can have Republican governors and Republican legislative branches, but putting it forth honest, and election laws, trying to control, put so that the laws are honest and above board, cut down on corruption. But when you have oftentimes federal judges will overturn those and saying they're unconstitutional or racist and things like that. Here in Wisconsin, we had a law to set up universal voter early voting laws. Have it same time in all over the state. But a judge out of Madison basically canceled it.
So you're talking about the importance of judges, the judicial branch, in addition to the executive and the legislative.
Affirmative, because judges can, seem to override, especially if leftist judges are appointed by the federal government.
No question about that. Thanks for the call, Dave.
Thank you.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, watch out, Dave Matthews. We have a new bus dumping story.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's smelly. It stinks. But first, here's your forecast. It's going to be pretty sunny today. A few high clouds, a pleasant high of 70 degrees tonight. Cloudy with a shower, a low of 50. And for tomorrow, we're going to have a morning shower. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun. It'll be breezy, a little bit cooler, a high of 59 degrees. Any trouble spots on the roadways? Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Yes, in a word, thanks to road construction running late, the inbound Stevenson has heavy delays, 53 to before 83, where after the road work cleared near County Line, there's now a stall left lane. Your car losing a tire just before 83. And we're looking at about an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, just 29 minutes from the Tri-State, so it's slow Harlem to Kedzie, and southbound 55 is all clear. Eden's Kennedy, delay-free. About Eisenhower, 33 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Southbound 30, Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Issue Ford, 35. There's a crash at Sibley with injuries in the right lane. Very slow as well, 115th to the Ryan. Eastbound Reagan Tollway slow, approaching the Eisenhower. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Introducing the perfect getaway, nestled in the prairie, a place you can go to unload the stress of the day and recharge your inner peace. A place that fills your senses with fresh air and the sweet sounds of your Second Amendment rights being exercised. It's where you go to clear your head.
Set your sights for the Range at 355. Shoot in a brand new state-of-the-art facility with 2 ranges, one programmable for distance and the other for turning and tactical drills, featuring Mancom Touch Plus and Mancom Touch and Go systems. Trust us, it's cool. The Range at 355, situated on a private parcel of wetlands at the crossroads of I-55 and 355, right off Boughton Road. A shooting oasis with a full array of firearms, ammunition, accessories, and classes with professional guidance and courteous instruction. Take a vacation from the mundane. The Range at 355, founded by patriots like you.
For range hours and info, visit range355.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, put your breakfast down.
Okay. It's happened again. Illegal dumping, this time coming from the bus of the Clinton Kane bus as it swirled through Gwinnett County, Georgia. Apparently, a local businessman noticed, and he smelled something foul in the air.
Hillary must be in the area.
Looked over, and the driver of the bus dumped the contents of the porta potty inside. Yeah. Tried to get it into a storm drain, and it didn't really work. And if you see this picture,
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, you will get sick and throw up your breakfast.
Wastewater just dumping all out in the street, pouring out into the storm drain. And at this time, I've got my cell phone out, and I'm taking pictures at this because I don't care who you are. That's just wrong.
Yeah. So
I mean, Hillary probably fills that thing up every 2 hours.
Oh my God, stop. The arrogance of the Democratic National Committee to do it. They've apologized, but the witness said that it was so bad, and if you look at the picture online, you'll know why, that they had to call in the hazmat crew to clean up the mess. And the DNC said it was an honest mistake. Oh, really? We apologize to the community for any harm we may have caused. And they're working together with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources to determine the best course of corrective action.
It happens. What happens?
No, I didn't say it. I swear I didn't say it. But it still smells.
Dems document dump.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
The following is a paid announcement.
Since 1983, Illinois has had 6 governors, more than 200 state senators, and more than 500 state representatives. But one man has remained. For more than 30 years, Illinois has had one Speaker of the House, Michael Madigan. Known as the King of Illinois, Madigan is the most powerful politician the state has ever seen. Now, a new documentary film is taking an unprecedented look at the Speaker's power and influence. More than 1 million Illinoisans have already watched the trailer for Madigan, Power, Privilege, Politics. Illinois' political machine doesn't want you to see this film, but we're bringing it to theaters across the state. Illinoisans deserve to know that without term limits, one man has taken total control of our democracy. Tickets are going fast. To watch the trailer and reserve your seat at a documentary screening near you, go to michaelmadigan.com today. That's michaelmadigan.com. You don't want to miss this.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump calls for term limits at 6:06.
And what do you want to hear from tonight's third and final presidential debate? But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be going on strike. Dodgers shut out the Cubs and take a commanding NLCS 2-1 lead. A Joliet man accused of murdering a friend in Homer Glen. Hand, foot, and mouth disease reported at the University of Illinois. And the Blackhawks get past the Flyers. Intervals of clouds and sun today, high near 70. Full forecast after Fox, WIND Chicago News Time. 6.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
We are going to have one of the greatest victories in political history.
A confident Donald Trump in Colorado still claiming Democrats and the media are rigging the election, which President Obama dismissed as whining. The last presidential debate is tonight in Las Vegas, where Fox's Tanya J. Powers is live.
Well, Dave, we'll be back to that Q&A format this evening. Chris Wallace, who's the host of Fox News Sunday, says his job is to be a moderator, not a participant. It's one he takes very seriously.
This is part of civics, the Constitution, if you will, in action, because this is helping millions of people decide who we're going to elect as the next president.
Now, the topics tonight include immigration, the economy, Supreme Court, and fitness to be president. It's 90 minutes, no breaks, and starts at 9 o'clock Eastern Time tonight, Dave.
I'm telling you, there's a new Fox poll out that still has Hillary Clinton leading nationally, a 6-point edge over Donald Trump among likely voters.
Clinton has the advantage among women and non-white voters. Trump favored among men, white voters, and independents. Trump telling supporters not to believe everything they see in polling.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. The Democratic National Committee is apologizing after one of its campaign buses was spotted dumping raw sewage along a road outside Atlanta. They're calling it an honest mistake. Professors have gone on strike at 14 Pennsylvania state colleges and universities. They walked off the job a few hours ago, affecting more than 100,000 students.
A prolonged strike could mean December graduations, financial aid, even some of this weekend's homecoming activities could be affected. A media blackout between the union and the state university system has left students in the dark.
That's Chris O'Connell with Fox 29 TV at the Westchester University campus. There will be classes at a San Francisco high school the morning after 4 students were shot in the parking lot. Police are still looking for 4 suspects.
There will be extra security and extra grief counseling for the students at school.
Spokeswoman Heidi Anderson, 1 student's in critical condition. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds, 53 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be walking off the job. Union officials announcing early this morning they've reached a tentative deal with the UNO Charter School Network, so school for around 8,000 city students will be in session. Cubs now trail the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1. Rich Hill outdueling Jake Arrieta. Cubs skipper Joe Madden on the loss.
Listen, I got a lot of faith in our guys. It's a difficult moment to be in, to come back out here on the first game here. 2 more left before we get to go home. And you have to fight through some pretty stringent adversity. But that's how this thing works sometimes.
L.A. hosts Game 4 of the NLCS tonight. Chicago alderman under federal investigation over allegations he improperly used campaign money for personal expenses. Chicago Tribune says Willie Cochran has paid himself more than $131,000 out of his campaign fund and made 70 revisions to campaign finance paperwork. He's denied any wrongdoing. A federal magistrate recommends a district judge deny a group of parents' request to bar a transgender student from a suburban Chicago high school's restrooms and locker rooms. Tuesday's recommendation by Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert now goes before District Judge Jorge Alonso, who's presiding over a lawsuit on behalf of parents whose children attend Palatine-based Township High School District 211. A Joliet man is accused of murdering his friend in Homer Glen. Police say Javier Rios hit Oscar Castro in the head with a hammer and then strangled him following an argument at the Mora Builders Company. Castro's body was discovered the following day inside an abandoned SUV in Joliet Township. Investigators believe the two men were arguing about sexual advances. There's a viral infection going around the University of Illinois campus. There's been more than 60 cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease that have surfaced since the beginning of the semester. The illness can cause fever, sore throat, reduced appetite before developing into blistering sores. It can be spread through close personal contact or through the air by coughing and sneezing. Chicago sports, NHL last night. Marian Hossa, goal number 500 for his career as the Blackhawks beat Philadelphia 7-4. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. The folks at Napa can't tell when the next storm is coming, but they can prepare for you for when it hits with Napa Proformer wiper blades, just $3.99 a blade. That's Napa know-how at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 11/13/60. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
6:06, a check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing one problem after another on northbound I-55. First overnight road work at County Line was very late in clearing. There was a car losing a tire at 83. Now there's a stall at Cass, just clear to the exit ramp. But delays start at Weber. It is an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 31 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound, it's fine. Eden's clear. The Kennedy, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, delays starting at Wolf. 44 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 29 minutes. I-80 to the verge. Bishop Ford, 27. A crash at Sibley is gone. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned, lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100. For a limited time, see store or staples.com for details. Restrictions, limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 70, mostly cloudy with a shower. Tonight, low 50. A morning shower in the area, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun tomorrow. High of 59. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 52 at O'Hare, 57 along the lakefront. Next news at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We manipulated the vote with money and action, not with law.
You start whining before the game's even over. If whenever things are going badly for you and you lose, you start blaming somebody else, then you don't have what it takes to be in this job.
When it comes to Washington, D.C., it is time to drain the damn swamp.
Wastewater just dumping all out in the street, pouring out in the storm drain. I don't care who you are, that's just wrong.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And now, I don't want to get into this. We will get into this rig thing again. But just dispensing with the prosaic rap of a candidate who's down. You know, you're up in the polls, you refer to the polls. You're down in the polls, you say, I don't believe the polls. That's not just something Trump does.
That's what everybody does?
Yeah, I mean, come on. People are making way too big a deal about it, starting with Obama. Of course they are. So
He said he's whining.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Here's the question.
Yes, sir. What is the
And
question?
this is for Trump supporters. And this is anecdotal, but I just kind of want to get a temperature here. Is your enthusiasm for Trump right now, as we stand under 3 weeks away from the election, the same as it was? In other words, are you just as enthused to go out and vote for Trump, regardless of the motivation, whether it's I'm voting for Trump to stop Hillary and I can't wait to get out and vote to stop Hillary, or it's because you think Trump is going to make America great again with a
wall.
Wave of a wand.
Right.
Whatever the reason, is it still there? Because that's essentially what Trump is counting on, is a motivated base compared to a passive, demoralized, disgusted middle. And that motivated base ultimately makes the difference for him. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. And he tried to fan the enthusiasm of that base and maybe even appeal a little bit to the middle, because this is a very popular issue. Yesterday in Colorado, he had a proposal in advance of tonight's debate that I'm sure he'll repeat.
Oh, yeah. And his proposal is term limits for House members. 6 years if you're a congressman, if you're a senator, 12 years. And he also wants a 5-year ban on lobbying. But he mentioned it yesterday when he made 2 stops in Colorado before heading to Las Vegas.
When it comes to Washington, D.C., it is time to drain the damn swamp. If I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Decades of political failure and special interest collusion must and will finally come to an end.
What about that? Does that proposal
pique your interest?
Well, not even that, but I mean, is it motivating? Do you like that proposal? Is that something that informs your vote? Because this is not unusual. Governor Rauner has been doing it since he became a candidate for office, and now governor. A number of legislative candidates are doing it in Illinois, proposing it. This is certainly not specific to Illinois. The idea of term limits, the idea, to be punitive towards the politicians, end the permanent career politician, the permanent ruling class, if you will. I'm not sure term limits is a panacea for that, but that's part of the argument. Does that have appeal to you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line. Candace in DuPage County.
Why are we yelling?
I don't know.
Good morning.
Good morning. My rose-colored glasses are off, but the more, and especially this latest thing with James O'Keefe, the more I learn about Hillary and her thugs, the more I want to defeat her. So I don't really care what happens with Trump, what he does. I'm like Prager. I'm going to vote to defeat Hillary. Doesn't matter.
All right. Thanks, Candace.
Well, Hillary, according to CNN, she's been debate prepping. She's been laying low lately, and she's been studying all those leaked emails, Dan. And she's also talking about the rigged election because she's going to try and get underneath Donald Trump's skin.
Well,
with some
right.
facts.
What
she claims,
Yeah, right. Yeah, facts.
support her feelings on alleged rigged elections.
All right, so here's the topics. They were announced yesterday.
Oh, let's
the
see if
topic
they-
areas.
Okay,
that Chris
whatever.
Wallace will query the two candidates upon: debt and entitlements, immigration, the economy, the Supreme Court, foreign hotspots, and fitness to be president. Oh boy, that fitness to be president
boy.
topic area, that'll probably dominate the 90 minutes.
Is that when they do that fit testing, when they do the jumping jacks and the burpees and everything, see if they're physically fit?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
more like a
Donald-
Wonderlic test for both of them.
But I think Donald Trump's at his best, when he's talking about trade, national security, terrorism, and the economy. And I just don't know which candidate's going to show up. Is it going to be presidential-esque Donald Trump, aggressive Donald Trump, and what kind of Hillary's going to show up as well?
Neil in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I just implore your listeners to go and see actually how bills are passed. I mean, all you have is revolving door regulators and industry working together, plutocrats, to pass bills to encase their special interest business. And if you look at Dodd-Frank implementation, that's exactly what it was, and that's exactly the problem of this country. Thanks.
All right, thanks for the call, Neil.
Hey, do you think they're going to shake hands before the debate?
I don't know.
Because they didn't last time.
I think they could be rolling around in the first 15 minutes. I thought that in the first debate. I really think that in this debate.
Really? Well, and then you know how Clinton shook the hands of Melania and the Trump family? They've ixnayed that because the Clinton campaign, they don't want to do that anymore.
No, that's fascinating.
I'm just in case you care.
A text from 815, support is stronger than ever for Trump among supporters. I know no one voting for Hillary Clinton. Be careful, Pauline Kael. Craig in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Amy, thanks for taking the call. This is from a Cruz original supporter who now feels so strongly for Trump because this is flat unfair. The media is just so blatantly against him. I do feel that Trump's making a big mistake in getting embroiled into many issues like term limits and gives them more ammunition to go after him. And what I do feel that the Trump people need is a rallying point because you can't take it humanly, all this abuse, week after week, and come out sane, or enthusiastic. So they need to have some kind of rallying. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Chris in Bolingbrook.
Hi. Yeah, I'm still voting for Trump. I just wish he would have stayed focused and stayed focused on the subjects at hand instead of going off on a tangent and been a little more mature and yet harsh. Said, okay, yeah, Hillary just wants to play games, same old story, so I'm going to stick to the facts. Have a good day.
All right, thanks, Chris. Jim in Tampa, Florida, swing state voter. Jim.
Hey, super enthusiastic to vote for Trump, and so many people that I talk to are the same way. Of course, I guess we all talk to each other, but I more than ever.
All right.
That's all I got today.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, here's something else. Glenn Beck suggested this, and Glenn Beck. So forget the message.
I like Glenn Beck, but
okay.
I can tell you don't.
Forget the messenger for a moment if you're less enthralled with Glenn Beck than Amy.
All right, well, what did he
And the message
suggest?
that there's a possible Bradley effect for Trump. The Bradley effect, Tom Bradley, the former mayor of L.A. when he was running for governor back in the early 80s, and he was leading, and he lost the race. And the belief was that there were people saying they're voting for Bradley even though they weren't because Tom Bradley was African American, because they didn't want to appear racist. And so the question is that happening here too? People not saying they're voting for Trump because they don't want to suffer the scorn or be recorded as having supported Trump because of the targeting of Trump supporters and the vitriol directed towards Trump and by extension his supporters. Is that a possibility?
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell my kids who I'm going to vote for. They'll never talk to me again. They won't.
They'll talk to you again.
I don't know. Only if they want something. But then,
Yeah, well, that's right. That's the only. Why would they talk to you otherwise?
Exactly.
Food.
We're at that stage in our relationship right now where they just talk to me when they need things.
Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I hate to say this, but I've fallen into a depression. I've given up hope. I have a daughter.
Election stress disorder.
I have a daughter at the Naval Academy, and the thought that she will have to listen to lectures by Hillary Clinton and and do for the 5 years after she graduates whatever Hillary Clinton says and wants. It's almost unbearable for me to think.
Well, why have you given up? Why have you given up hope, though?
I've given up hope because I feel like Trump has run such a terrible campaign. He cannot help himself. He has made terrible decisions. His talking points are off. Like your previous caller said, they need a rallying point, but how can a rallying point of good people overcome the corruption that is the United States now?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Holly.
You know what? I'm going to diagnose her. She has election stress disorder.
No, what I think is happening, and this is what the left does. I will remind you. I try and remind people this is because it's easy.
The left of it, or what Trump does?
No, the left.
Okay.
This is something conservatives need to remember. Conservatives have a tendency to become very fatalistic because of everything they see going around them and how far afield we have gotten to the original idea of this country. And I understand that. But understand what the left wants you to do. They want you to be cynical. They want you to be fatalistic. They want you to believe that you have no dominion over your own life and that you can't change things. Because when people feel that way, they tend to settle in for the status quo because they think the alternative could be worse. I'll just hold on to what I got because change could be even worse because I'm not in control and there's no prospect for improvement. Eric Hoffer, the great longshoreman turned philosopher, talked about this in detail in his book, Theory of Mass Movements. Don't give in to that. Don't give in to that. Tim in Burlington, Wisconsin.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, I've been a Trump supporter since day one. I agree that he's, stuck his foot in his mouth a few times, but he's a breath of fresh air. This country needs Trump. We don't need another politician to lick lollipops, take pictures, lie to us, and turn around and screw us like we've had for the last 50 years.
All right.
I'm willing to take a chance on him than have Hillary, which we know is going to just flush this place right down the toilet.
All right, but enough about her campaign bus.
Hey-o.
Thanks for the call, Tim. Scott on the west side.
Hey, Dan and Amy, thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. I, too, like that other woman that just called, has been falling into deep depression every time that I feel that Trump is not going to win. Perhaps you and Amy could offer counseling services on your morning radio show for us.
There's a pill for that.
I do believe that we should have term limits, and I think it should be one position in government, and I don't know how many terms, but perhaps more than one so that they're able to get stuff done. It really upsets me that the legislatures aren't even writing the legislation anymore, and I don't think they have for quite some time. And
the only thing I'd say about that, Scott, I know a lot of legislators. You should be glad most of them aren't writing bills.
Okay. Well, then they shouldn't be in there either.
That's true.
Which would be another argument for term limits.
That's true.
Our forefathers wanted a citizen government, and I think that that's what we need to get back to.
Thanks for the call, Scott.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
We have a delivery. I saw the man behind you. I waved. Hey, there's something in there for you.
Flowers for me?
Coming up next, who's bringing who to the debate? And I'm very disappointed in Donald Trump. Trying to take him seriously. Forecast for today, clouds and some sunshine. Just a gorgeous day, a high of 70 degrees. Tonight, a shower, low of 50. And for tomorrow, we're going to have a morning shower. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun. Breezy, cooler, a high of 59. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thank you, Amy. Northbound I-55, it's bottled up from Weber to 83. There was late to clearing overnight roadway, a couple of stalls, and it's just a mess there. And also very slow now, LaGrange Road to Kedzie, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 38 minutes from the Tri-State. Aiden's inbound slow 280 to Cicero, crash in the left lane, 24 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. The Kennedy, 26 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 34. Ryan is 22 minutes from 95th to the Loop. I-57, 30 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 36. Eastbound Adams Tollway now slow Bussy to Lee, and from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Jim Talamonte from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg over there at Pearl Mortgage. Kevin, score 66. Yeah, that's it. Called to refinance his 5% mortgage and pay off credit card debt totaling $40,000. David recommended Kevin secure an FHA mortgage and up to 85% of his home's value because it was his best option. But Kevin didn't like that PMI. David informed Kevin to get over his PMI phobia and concentrate on the extra $800 a month that he's going to have available to begin saving for his son's college education. So here's the deal. Listen up. There is no magic. Debt elimination dust that will eliminate your debt, and it will only go away when you pay it off. If you want to learn how you can use your home's equity to pay off your debt like Kevin did, then call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David Hochberg, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Peter forgot to order supplies for the office, and the boss is not happy.
Peter, we're out of toilet paper.
I'm sorry, boss. I'll order supplies right now. They should be here by next week.
Next week?
Peter really needs to call Combined Sales. Combined Sales has the products and solutions your business can't live without. From paper to pens, packaging, janitorial and safety supplies, and food service, Combined Sales to the rescue. They're local and can get you the supplies needed to keep your business running smoothly, fast, and at a great price. Plus, you'll deal with real people, not just another faceless internet site. You'll have an outside rep, an inside rep, and a customer service rep. Right now, Combined Sales has a presidential offer for new customers. This is huge. Open a business account today, order $500 in supplies, and you'll earn 5% in Co-op Reward dollars on all purchases for the next 3 months. Plus, receive a bonus $50 Co-op Reward. Request an account set up today at CombinedSales.com. CombinedSales.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, let's take a couple more calls right quick. Derek in Portage, Wisconsin. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Still voting for Trump? Still enthusiastic about it?
Yeah, morning, guys. I'm actually not a Trump supporter. I was a Cruz supporter, and but I am as motivated or more now to stop Hillary than I was, when she announced. And honestly, my buddy Sean from Elwood Park is not going to agree with this, but Mike Pence's debate performance actually gives me a little bit of optimism for that vote now.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for the call, Derek. Jim in Brookfield.
Hey, I just wanted to speak to your point earlier about basically people being very kind of hesitant to publicly endorse or show their support for Trump. I can tell you I'm one of those voters that, you publicly say that in certain groups of people that aren't like-minded, you're likely to be, you're going to be wearing the letter A.
That's
on your
Scarlet.
voting community pretty quickly.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Jim. I understand that, but, it's time to, again, be as aggressive as the left is normally. What defense is there to Hillary? I mean, in fact, the motivating factor for so many is to stop Hillary more, though, than to elevate Trump, as we've heard from these callers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's your motivating factor,
That's
right,
my
Amy?
motivating factor.
Much to the chagrin of the Lakeview ladies.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Dr. Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner. Has helped me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
AM 560. The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, once Dan stops shoving a donut in his mouth.
Thank you, Ken Jerish Bakery in Elk Grove Village. Great donuts. And also included a Dan Gott palm card. Dan Gott's running for state representative, Republican candidate in Park Ridge, Des Plaines area. So I don't know if it's from Dan Gott or Ken Jerish or the combination of the two, but thank you to whoever gave me donuts to eat all morning.
Coming up, Nat Makowiak. Did I pronounce it right, Dan?
That's close enough.
Oh, thank you. He'll be joining us. And later, look who's coming to the debate. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the third and final presidential debate set to take place tonight. Trump and Clinton will take the stage in Vegas. Trump expected to face pointed questions about allegations of groping and kissing women without consent. But these folks say they're disgusted with all of those attacks on both sides, and say issues were not discussed enough in the first two debates.
I'd rather have my skin peeled off than watch the debate.
My blood pressure goes up when I watch it. Listening to the attacks back and forth bother me.
The 90-minute primetime debate, moderated by Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace, will be heard right here on AM 560, The Answer. A new plan calling for a constitutional convention that would give Washington, D.C. residents a little more say in laying the foundation to try and become the 51st state has become a little closer to reality, as the D.C. City Council yesterday approved a constitution but voted to ditch New Columbia as a possible name in favor of the state of Washington, D.C. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be going on strike. Union officials announcing early this morning they've reached a tentative deal with the UNO Charter Network several hours after the midnight deadline, so school will be in session for about 8,000 city students. Cubs are now trailing the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1, thanks to Rich Hill dealing for the Dodgers, throwing 6 shutout innings of work. L.A. hosts Game 4 of the NLCS later tonight. Last night on the ice, it was the Blackhawks over Philadelphia, 7-4. In that contest, Marian Hossa scoring career goal number 500. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. When you pick up the 99-cent reusable bag from participating Napa Auto Parts stores, you're not just getting a bag. You know you're getting 20% off the stuff you put inside it. That's Napa know-how. While supplies last, minimum 3 items purchased. Some restrictions apply. Offer expires 10/31/16. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Debate number 2 got personal.
Bill Clinton was abusive to women.
Real personal.
We've seen him embarrass women.
So will the third and final debate be more of the same? Will Hillary continue the assault on Trump's personal life?
I know you're into big diversion tonight.
And will Trump point his sights again on Hillary's mounting email scandal?
There has never been so many lies.
Join us for the final debate, Trump-Clinton, tonight. Pre-debate coverage begins with Joe Walsh, starting at 5. Hear the debate at 8 on AM 560. The Answer.
Half-price Wing Tuesdays now at B-Dubs. Any size order of traditional wings costs half as much, making Tuesdays twice as good. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Valid at participating locations for a limited time.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100-plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100-plus job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
The following is a paid political announcement.
As Americans, we have many issues to consider this election cycle. But those of us in Cook County also have the big issue of property taxes, which are driving some people out of their homes, their county, and their state.
I'm Dan Patlack, Commissioner of the Cook County Board of Review. I've worked hard to increase access to the appeal process and ensure fair assessments. Last year, more appeals were filed with the board than ever in the history of Cook County or the nation, and the Cook County Board of Review was ready. As the only Republican in a tax system controlled by the other party, I represent balance and someone who will fight for you. With over 20 years of experience in property valuation as a realtor, certified assessing officer, board analyst, township assessor, and commissioner, and with a background fighting unfair taxation and wasteful spending, I want to continue working for fair assessments on your behalf. I'm Dan Patlack, and I ask for your vote.
Dan Patlack, the qualified candidate for Cook County Board of Review. Endorsed by the Chicago Tribune. Visit electpatlack.com. Paid for by citizens for Dan Patlack.
6:36. Let's check the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is jammed. Solid Old Orchard to Cicero. The crash in the left lane. 45 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Up on 20. Kennedy now 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound it's 40. The Eisenhower 51 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 40. Northbound I-55 is a mess. Overnight roadwork was late in clearing. Delays start at Weber. It's an hour and 12 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 44 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 39 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State goes Cicero to the 83rd Street toll. 75th to 31st. And from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. The northeastbound Reagan tollway, slow Finley to Highland. There's a crash on the left side. Traffic service of Staples. Staples bringing you traffic on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sunshine and a high near 70. Cloudy with a shower, 50 overnight. 52 at O'Hare, 57 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7 with continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? Tonight is the final debate. It's in Las Vegas. Aunt Linda will be there.
Yeah, and
She'll
last
be on
night-
the ground reporting for us.
Yeah, we could call her tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But last night she was in an event with all the Trump ladies. Omarosa was there. Diamond and Silk were there.
Summer
Katrina
Zervos.
Pearson.
Summer Zervos.
Yeah, and some of the Trump daughter-in-laws. So she was Summer was not there. And
Thought
hopefully,
maybe she catered the event.
no, yeah.
Auditioning for the Trump organization
Hey,
because
I'm
she
going-
wanted a job.
I'm going to L.A. today after the show. I'll swing by Sonny's
Yeah,
in
Hunting-
Huntington Beach.
yeah.
Maybe get you a T-shirt, get you some swag. Find out Summer. She's going to vote for Trump now.
So
All
Aunt
this-
Linda had a good time with the Trump
Yeah.
women, Diamond and Silk, the pundits.
And I got to tell you, Silk has softened her look. She looks 20 years younger. She has long hair now. I didn't even recognize her. But apparently
they've gone Hollywood.
Aunt Linda told me that she spoke with Diamond and Silk, and they do know who we are. So we have arrived, Dan.
It's nice.
I mean,
nice to be
it's a big
appreciated.
deal.
Now, the issue categories in tonight's debate have been announced: debt/entitlements, immigration, the economy, Supreme Court, foreign hotspots, fitness to be president. That's funny. Like those issues will be discussed. What's more likely to be discussed is a National Enquirer profile on Hillary Clinton, 26-page expose out today.
I'm gonna pick
Former
up-
Clinton fixer, right?
Claims that Hillary had relationships with both men and women.
I prefer the term trysts.
Trysts?
That's more Enquirer lingo
Yeah,
than
it's,
relationships.
I don't know.
It's too sanitized.
I'm not buying it, but I will read the article if you want me to.
So you're not buying the story, but you will buy the Enquirer.
I will buy the
of course.
Enquirer.
All right. For some, I don't know, is it possible to have serious talk about a debate between these two? We're going to try with Matt Makowiak. He's a Republican strategist and the president of Potomac Strategy Group. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. So, thinking about this from an operative perspective, if you were advising the Trump campaign and the Donald himself, what are the one or two things he must accomplish tonight to build some momentum from tonight into the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I just took that subject on in my exclusive New York Observer column, which is up this morning. But look, Trump's entering this debate in as bad a situation as almost any presidential nominee, certainly in my lifetime and perhaps in the history of the country. If you look at where he is in the Real Clear Politics average nationally, he's anywhere between 35 and 39%, which would put him among the 10 worst performing major party nominees in the history of the country. He's obviously been on an absolute nightmare run here the last 3 weeks, bleeding support from Republicans and college-educated white women. I kind of see maybe four things he needs to do tonight to try to resuscitate his campaign. I think, first of all, he's got to demonstrate some honest contrition. I don't expect him to admit, to groping, but he needs to admit to some bad behavior in the past, and that he really ought to offer an apology to anyone that he's treated badly. And if he did that with some contrition tonight, I think that would go a long way to put this behind him. I mean, secondly, and almost most importantly, I think there's an opportunity to hold Hillary accountable. He did that at times in the second debate, made her play defense. But boy, we have some new information now with this quid pro quo between the State Department and the FBI that came out from the FBI interview notes, and of course all the revelations from WikiLeaks that have come out over the past few weeks. The last two are, he just needs to have a positive vision that explains what the country would look like 4 years from now and how that's better. People don't vote for a negative; they vote for a positive, and he's got to do that. And then finally, I just think he's got to be disciplined. Going in, chasing rabbits and going down into controversial territory takes the debate in a direction it doesn't need to go for him to be successful.
Well, now I want to challenge one point though, that people vote for positive, they don't vote for negative. It seems to me, for both of them, because they're so unpopular and for similar and varied reasons, that the goal of this entire campaign that he failed to accomplish was to make this a referendum on Hillary, stop Hillary. And it seems to me he needs to remind people of his opponent to some extent, and maybe in addition to saying kind of the whole process, the whole culture is something to be rejected as is Hillary Clinton.
Totally agree. I mean, there's been no time that I can remember in American political history where both candidates were viewed more negatively than positively, where both candidates had an image that was upside down. Generally, at the end of a campaign, maybe the losing candidate is upside down, but the winning candidate is right side up. And so you're right. I mean, this was a race all along. If this race was about Trump, Trump loses. If the race was about Hillary, Hillary loses. And if you remember, the best run Trump had this entire campaign, at least in the general election, was the 2 or 3 weeks leading into the first debate. Hillary was really on defense. It was after the health scare. There were the FBI interview. Notes came out there on Labor Day, which really raised a lot of questions. And she was in the news, and he wasn't in the news. He had been more disciplined. He'd moved to a teleprompter for a few weeks. So, look, he's got some, I think, very clear opportunities tonight. Do I expect him to do the things, that I suggest? Probably not. I don't think he has the discipline and self-control. He doesn't seem to understand how you have a strategy when you go into debate, and you have to really focus on executing that strategy. But he did improve from the first debate to the second. I will admit that. And so if he improves again tonight from the second to the third, there's a chance he could do well enough to perhaps change the trajectory of the race, and that's what he needs.
Well, Matt, what has he done for debate prep this time around? I mean, all that I've heard is that Priebus was Chris Wallace and Chris Christie was playing the role of Hillary Clinton, but yet he was still out campaigning, twice.
Similar-sized pantsuits.
2 appearances yesterday in Colorado. And do you think he's going to wing this one, or do you think he's really prepared?
I don't think he's really prepared that much. He certainly isn't preparing the way traditional presidential candidates prepare. He can laugh about that if he wants. But having been involved in debate prep with candidates, there is a serious way to go about it, and then there's not a serious way to go about it. And generally, candidates that don't take debates seriously don't perform well. And what's so incredible about this is there's probably never been a presidential candidate who needed debate prep more than Donald Trump. He probably feels like he did well enough in the town hall debate that he doesn't need debate prep for the third one, and I just couldn't disagree more. But look, he has such poor self-confidence that he can't handle honest feedback in real time based about his own performance. I think that's really the core issue about why he won't do debate prep. Generally, debate prep is about sharpening your language. It's about anticipating what your opponent will say. It's about making sure that you're communicating exactly what you want to communicate, and wargaming scenarios, and doing it all on video and watching yourself, and then practicing that several times. Not so that you're memorizing lines or that you're a robot, but so that you're the best version of yourself, and by the end you're performing at a much higher level than you were at the beginning. Well, that's a very basic concept.
Yeah, and I've done debate prep too, both as a candidate and for candidates. And, here's the thing about it. It's issues that are somewhat complicated, or can be if you're not succinct and lucid in explaining them, like all of the WikiLeaks information. And so much there, like the FBI document dump. So much there. But if you're not prepared to give a 30-second answer that gets to a important point for the American people to take away from it all, then it's just, you're just kind of making obscure references. WikiLeaks this, Podesta that, FBI docs this, which Trump does a lot, this kind of staccato way he has of addressing issues, but it doesn't give the passively engaged voter much to grab onto in terms of, well, I'm sorry, what is the point? Who are these people? What is he talking about? Why should I be upset? What is the danger? Those are the kind of questions he doesn't seem to answer effectively when he is not precise with his language.
It is such a crucial point. I mean, really is, Dan. He is so imprecise with his language, and Hillary has spent her entire life parsing, the definition of the word is, as any lawyer, might. And so you're right on these issues. Number one, most people don't understand the complexities of them. And number two, you do have to educate voters. I mean, the reason presidential debates matter is because you're not just talking about political junkies that are tuning in. With a TV audience of 60 or 70 or 80 million people, you're getting, as you said, passive viewers, people that would generally be watching sports or sitcoms at night that are tuning in to watch politics because they think it's their civic duty on one evening. And you're right. I mean, the opportunity is there. These issues. Look, Hillary Clinton would be losing to 10 or 11 of our nominees had any of the other candidates been our nominee right now. She's the single weakest front runner and likely president of the United States than I can ever remember. 2/3 of the country viewing her as dishonest and not trustworthy. 7 out of 10 voters believing the country's headed in the wrong direction. I mean, she's really poor on the campaign trail, and you have these very serious revelations coming out from WikiLeaks and now from the FBI investigation of her server. So, you're right. I mean, if he had prepared enough, he could understand how to precisely hold her accountable and prosecute the case against her. But he just doesn't. He's just not able to do it. It's almost like English isn't even the first language for him. He has such difficulty being precise and specific in holding her accountable, and it's been a terrible missed opportunity. And if you think about someone like Marco Rubio, who had a fantastic debate in his U.S. Senate race the other night, or Ted Cruz, or Chris Christie, so many of these other candidates, I think, would have really held Hillary accountable, and it would have been a different race entirely.
Maybe he can just cede his 45 minutes to Hillary. The more she talks, the worse it gets for her. Matt Mackowiak, he is a Republican strategist, president of the Potomac Strategy Group. Matt, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Look who's coming to dinner. Kidding. Look who's coming to the debate. But first, here's your forecast. We're going to have some clouds, sun. It's going to be a beautiful day, a high of 70 degrees. Tonight, cloudy with a passing shower, a low of 50. And for tomorrow, we're going to have a morning shower here. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun. Breezy, though, and cooler. A high of 59 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. It's jammed on the inbound Edens. Old Orchard to Cicero with a crash in the left lane. 48 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, now 39 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43. The Ike, an hour. Thorndale to the post office. 43 minutes from Manheim, outbound 46 to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 delays start at Weber. There's a crash at 83 now on the right side. An hour and 16 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-States, though Cicero to the 83rd Street toll, 75th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Veterans Memorial heavy I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290 and 8094. Stop and go Grant to Kennedy due to construction. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. McDonald's settles an EEOC lawsuit, tracking today's economic reports, and overall inflation remains checked. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
The Labor Department says overall inflation continues to remain in check. Higher energy prices in September fueled a rise in consumer prices, but gas at the pump still costs 6 cents per gallon less than a year ago. Key economic events in the day ahead included an update on the Consumer Price Index, the latest report on the housing market, and today's 4-week Treasury bill auction. McDonald's will settle a complaint from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission for $56,000 after a restaurant manager in Southwest Missouri refused to interview a job applicant who's hearing impaired and also unable to speak. The healthcare system at Dartmouth University will lay off 84 employees to reduce expenses. Please join Lou Dobbs tonight for live debate coverage on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Business owners and managers, you likely aren't getting the most out of your phone system, and whether you realize it or not, you could be losing revenue. At AM 560, Innovative Networks is more than a client. They're also a company we work with and highly recommend. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing network solutions that scale with our business. And amazingly, They can replace your outdated phone system at no cost. Plus, provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. Your bottom line will improve, and you'll be better equipped to focus on growing your business. We're thrilled with Innovative Networks and suggest you call them at 312-889-9090. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. That website is go4inet.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy rewriting history. The Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of African American History and Culture. The tagline, powerful moments in African American history, culture, and community.
Yeah, they had a big grand opening. Oprah was there. Your buddy Will Smith, the Obamas, and the Bushes were there. But I heard that only 10% of the artifacts that they need for that are ready to go.
$500 million price tag, funded 50% by U.S. taxpayers. 36,000 artifacts, 100,000 people represented. But one of the individuals not represented, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, the second African-American justice on the High Court, of course, in addition to Thurgood Marshall.
Well, please, I need to hear the reason why.
Linda St. Thomas, chief spokesperson for the Smithsonian. There are many compelling personal stories about African Americans who become successful in various fields, and obviously Associate Justice Thomas is one of them. However, we cannot tell every story in our inaugural exhibitions.
That was the reasoning?
Black Lives Matter organization is represented in the museum.
Of course they are. Liberal agendas.
Senator Tim Scott, not represented.
Really?
Edward
Let me guess,
Brooke.
Elijah Cummings is.
First, Edward Brooke, a Republican who became the first African-American to be elected to the U.S. Senate by popular vote in 1966. Not represented. So it's very much like the NAACP, the Smithsonian Institute National Museum of African-American History and Culture. What they really are saying, the National Museum of Liberal African-American History and Liberal Culture. Lose the culture, lose the country.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
We live in an unpredictable world. On any given day, you could find yourself in a state of emergency. Are you prepared? In a crisis, your number one need will be food, but not just any food. Survival food is more important today than ever before, says Frank Bates from 4 Patriots, a leader in self-reliant products. Natural disasters, terrorist attacks, and other threats can make obtaining sufficient food impossible in an emergency. Don't take chances. You need to have a supply of non-perishable survival food good for 25 years on hand in case of emergency. And now you can. Because right now, 72-hour survival food kits are being given away free to listeners, but only while supplies last. This 72-hour survival kit has 16 servings of delicious food rated for 25 years of storage. It sells to the general public for $27 plus shipping, but it's yours free if you act now. Just cover the $9.95 shipping. To get your free supply, go to freefood4.com right now. That's freefood4.com. freefood4.com.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Calamity Jan's husband, Bob, is out of a job. Maybe he's going back to prison. 7:07.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan. Stories that we are watching right now. Dodgers shut out the Cubs and take a lead in the NLCS. A Joliet man accused of murdering a friend in Homer Glen. Judge recommends against locker room restrictions for a transgendered student. Blackhawks get past the Flyers while the Bears prepare for the Packers. Clouds and sunshine in your forecast. We'll have the full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The final presidential debate is tonight, and Donald Trump's confident.
We're doing great. If we keep our spirit, and if we go out and win, this is another Brexit.
Referencing the British vote to leave the European Union that defied many polls. A Fox survey gives Hillary Clinton a 6-point lead nationally, with women, young voters, and non-whites overwhelmingly supporting her. The debate will be in Las Vegas, where Fox's Tanya J. Powers is live.
Dave, the topics tonight will include some big items that both candidates have hit hard on the campaign trail, like immigration and economy, to name just a couple. Now, also on the list is fitness to be president. That's something most people have an opinion on.
Well, I think Hillary is the best candidate to heal any divide that we have in the country.
Absolutely, Mr. Trump, because he's shown that by the way he lives his life.
Donald Trump's campaign is inviting President Obama's half-brother to the debate, while Hillary Clinton's campaign says her guests will include 3 people from Nevada, including one who used to work as a housekeeper for Trump Hotel here in Las Vegas, Dave.
Now, Tanya, Donald Trump has complained the election is rigged, though his claims about voter fraud have been dismissed by Democrats and some Republicans. In Indiana, though, a state elections official says thousands of voter registrations have been altered, urging people to check to be sure their info is correct. Things got ugly outside the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines. Anti-American protesters started hitting a police van with wooden batons they'd taken from cops, and then that van drove into the crowd, repeatedly ramming the demonstrators. At least 3 had to be hospitalized. Police also used tear gas and arrested 23. Some professors won't be teaching classes today in Pennsylvania. Faculty and coaches went on strike at 14 colleges and universities this morning. These students at Westchester are worried.
We start missing assignments, and then we can't finish out the semester with classes.
What about tuition reimbursement? I'm paying for this.
Colorado's governor's called out the National Guard to help fight a wildfire that's burned down 5 homes and forced hundreds to evacuate. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning, we have 52 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A group of charter school teachers will not be going on strike. Union officials announcing just a couple of hours ago they've reached a tentative deal with the UNO Charter School Network after several hours of negotiation past the midnight deadline. School for around 8,000 city students will be in session today. Cubs trail the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1. Former Cub Rich Hill outduels Jake Arrieta in a 6-0 Dodger win. Joe Madden.
Listen, I got a lot of faith in our guys. It's a difficult moment to be in, to come back out here on the first game here. 2 more left before we get to go home. And you have to fight through some pretty stringent adversity. But that's how this thing works sometimes.
LA hosts Game 4 of the NLCS tonight. A Southside Chicago alderman denying any wrongdoing in the midst of a reported federal investigation. AM 560's David Stewart with details.
The Chicago Tribune reports that federal agents are looking at whether 20th Ward Alderman Willie Cochran violated the law in the way he converted campaign cash to personal use. Cochran says he's done nothing wrong and denies being approached by investigators. But a real estate developer told the Tribune he was contacted by the FBI about a check he wrote to Cochran for his scholarship fund. Cochran's campaign reports show that he's paid himself $130,000 out of his campaign fund since 2011. He's also made 70 revisions to his campaign reports over the past 2 years. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A federal magistrate recommends a district judge deny a group of parents' request to bar a transgender student from a suburban Chicago high school's restrooms and locker rooms. Tuesday's recommendation by Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert now goes to U.S. District Judge Jorge Alonso. NHL last night, Blackhawks over Philadelphia 7-4. Marian Hossa with career goal number 500. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples. And you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
7:06. Check of the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is jammed. Gulf Road to Cicero with a crash in the left lane. It's 48 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 16 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound 45 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower is now an hour and 3 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 51 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 18 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 49 minutes. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays are heavy. Cicero to 47th, and from the Reagan all the way to North Avenue. Traffic is a service of Accountemps. You know what you should be making? Visit accountemps.com/salary center to see salaries for more than 400 accounting and finance salaries where you live. Your go-to source for accounting and finance salary information. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Let's get the very latest now with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 70, then a mostly cloudy night along with a shower, low of 50. Then a shower still around for the morning tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be a breezy day. Clouds will give way to some sun with a high of 59. Tomorrow night, clear to partly cloudy with a low 40. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
52 at O'Hare, 55 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We manipulated the vote with money and action, not with law.
You start whining before the game's even over. If whenever things are going badly for you and you lose, you start blaming somebody else, then you don't have what it takes to be in this job.
When it comes to Washington, D.C., it is time to drain the damn swamp.
Wastewater just dumping all out in the street, pouring out in the storm drain. I don't care who you are, that's just wrong.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I've got my predicted Trump opening line. This is a prediction, not a suggestion.
All right.
My prediction. This week, Hillary took a dump on the state of Georgia. That's what she's going to do to the rest of America if elected. What do you think?
I think
I think that's more like.
I'm still eating breakfast, and I don't want to conjure up that visual that I saw.
Would you like a donut?
No, I'm all right.
I think
the arrogance of just dumping your sewer stuff.
I think that is as likely as any discussion about, I don't know, the Iran deal or tax and regulatory policy.
Well, I wanted this to be serious.
I think this is going right into the sewer is what I'm trying to say.
I know. They apologized. The DNC apologized for dumping the toilet waste on a street in Georgia. There's pounds and pounds of toilet paper and other stuff. No, I'm going to go on. I'm going to describe it in full detail. I can smell it from here. Even though it's thousands of miles away.
You can't unstem that tide of sewage.
What are they, Dave Matthews Band? I mean, how many other tour buses are doing that?
What do you think about tonight's debate? What would you like to see? Would you like it to venture off into the surreal and the silly, as the last two have in significant measure, and as you suspect this would as well? Or do you really want 90 minutes of policy responses to serious policy questions that highlight contrast between the two candidates and what they would do as president? Don't be so naive.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey Debt Pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I want this to be taken seriously, and it's not because Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying so hard to like you.
Yeah, Hillary's a real serious person.
Well, yesterday he announced that he's bringing Patricia Smith, mother of the slain Benghazi American Sean Smith. I understand that. But he's also bringing President Obama's half-brother to the debate, Malik Obama.
Yeah, he's a big fan. He's a big Trump fan, is Malik.
Yeah, he is. He told the BBC in July that he thought it was hypocritical that his half-brother didn't invite anyone from his father's side to the Democratic National Convention, and that he is going to be supporting Donald Trump.
It's going to make America great again, says Malik.
I mean,
that's what he says.
Okay, but why?
Well, why what?
It just seems like he's a showman again, that he's trying to create buzz and turn it into reality TV. Well, I guess it is
the idea. The idea that there's a showmanship element to politics, that is not something that is just attended to Donald Trump. I mean, so let's not get a little carried away by something as relatively innocuous as inviting your effectively your opponent's half brother who's a supporter. So what?
And Hillary Clinton again is bringing Mark Cuban, who this morning is coming forward saying that he knows two other women personally that were sexually harassed by Donald Trump, and they're too afraid to come forward.
Is Mark Cuban? Is that showmanship?
I guess so.
Yeah, okay. One issue that is a little bit of showmanship, but I think also substantive, is this issue of the James O'Keefe videos, the Project Veritas videos, featuring convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky, congressman from Illinois, you'll recall, representing the Communist Party here, and doing so with verve and vigor.
I never passed on a meal.
Bob Kramer is, gone to prison for bank fraud. check kiting, convicted felon. Have I mentioned that?
Yes, you have.
Let me mention it again. Convicted felon Bob Creamer, longtime Democrat operative. We find today visited the White House 342 times since 2009. 342 times.
What in the world?
Not a low-level operative is my point. He is somebody that, as you see in these O'Keefe videos, explains how he coordinates all of the black ops activities with respect to inciting violence at Trump events and engaging in voter fraud with special events people from the Democrat National Committee, with special events personnel from the Hillary campaign, and then with his band of goons like Scott Foval. Both Creamer and Foval have been relieved of their duties thanks to these James O'Keefe videos where they, in their own words, brag about their illicit conduct, or at least their illicit plans for illegal conduct. And I think this is relevant, especially the voter fraud piece of it, because of the argument that's being advanced that, this is rigged, or at least certainly the Dems are attempting to rig it, whether they're successful or not, conspiring to rig it, conspiring to disenfranchise Americans by enfranchising people who are not eligible to vote is a real problem. And it should be a real problem across the board. And it should be an issue that's addressed not just because of this race, this election on November 8th, but on a go-forward basis. And so here's the video that was posted yesterday. Scott Foval, formerly of People for the American Way. This is the organization that was founded by Norman Lear.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, mainly funded by George Soros. Foval was like an organizing director for People for the American Way, and then when he was caught and fired, I think Norman Lear said, "You meathead."
Hey-o.
Because, he wrote All in the Family.
Oh, you're so funny.
He said,
so witty, really.
he said to Scott Foval, "You're not dynamite."
Okay.
Because Norman Lear wrote Good Times. Yeah.
Do you want me to do my rerun move again?
He said, Scott Foval, you're a dingbat, because he wrote All in the Family.
Oh.
Yeah.
Edith.
Yeah.
Archie. Oh my gosh.
Your
really?
Carol O'Connor needs some work. Your Gene Stapleton's not bad. All right, so here's Scott Foval explaining how to bring out-of-staters into Wisconsin to illegally vote. This is good information to know.
It's the legality. Well, yeah. Because you can prove conspiracy if there's a bus. Yeah. If there are cars, it's much harder to prove. And there's enough money. If there's enough money, then you have people drive their POV. Absolutely. Or you have them drive rentals. Yeah, with Wisconsin license plates. Absolutely. Well, you can't have them with Wisconsin license plates because rentals here, most of them don't have Wisconsin license plates. Oh. But there's these things called used car auctions. Used car auctions, the titles belong to some unknown company. They're company cars.
And these are multiple employers. These are not all one employer.
Yeah. Use shell companies. Yeah. Cars come from one company, the paychecks come from another. There's no bus involved, so you can't prove that it's en masse.
There you go.
So it doesn't tip people off.
So it's a little hard to hear with the ambient noise, but the bottom line is that they're discussing with one of O'Keefe's reporters is Scott Foval. One of the items you can use as for identification purposes to register a vote, get a title to a car. And the way you do that with a Wisconsin plate is go to used car auction and do it there. Don't rent a car. Don't just bust people in masse. Have people come with their personally owned vehicles and the title to prove that it's their vehicle, and they can use that along with one of the other plots that's described in these videos, along with getting an employer to hire Latinos as day laborers, so they have a pay stub. So they have a pay stub and a title to a car where those are two items they can use to register to vote illegally, and then they can illegally vote. And you can rinse and repeat this and scale it. That's essentially what they're discussing, and it goes on with Bob Creamer. He enters the picture, and you've got a reporter laying this out for Bob Creamer, what he discussed with Scott Foval, and listen to Creamer's reaction.
Let's say I had a business inside of, say, Illinois or Michigan, and I hired people, and I had addresses for them, I could write them checks for those. I could use them as day laborers or whatever, and use them and find my way around the voter registration laws for Hispanics. That's one thing. I'm actually, that idea, when he gave it to me, I was like, that sounds like something we could register huge numbers of people that way. Well, that kind of thing kind of stuck in my craw when he mentioned it to me.
All right, let me, on that front, I'm going to write down these options. Let me see if I can chat with the people who are most involved in Hispanic voter registration.
Okay.
We'll have to do this. I mean, this is very important, this stuff. Turnout is huge.
So he lays out the scheme, illegal, and then Creamer's reaction is, let me talk to people that are in charge of Hispanic voter registration. We want to do this. Turnout is key. That was Creamer's response to the illegal activity that was described. That's an issue. I think it's an issue, and I think this is one of these things, though, where Trump needs to be very precise and succinct if he wants to introduce it this evening in advance of his argument that Dems are rigging it and disenfranchising Americans from the vote. Let's go to Jordan in Forest Park here in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. I hope that the debate will end up talking about at least one significant pocketbook issue that a Trump populist campaign ought to be talking about, and that's these massive Obamacare premium increases. I am shocked that this has not come up yet because what I've known about this so far is you're talking about probably $150 to $200 increases per adult in Illinois, and then you add on children to that. And most of the people that I know do not get subsidies either. That's a big fallacy that, everybody's getting a subsidy. And the Republicans don't respond to that when the administration mentions that. And this is something that needs to come out. But I am expecting maybe Creamer has also another thing he can work on, and that is how about a quote-unquote hack attack on healthcare.gov so that the real price increases don't come out until, maybe November 15th.
Yeah, well, thanks for the call, Jordan. It's a good issue you raise, a good point underneath that issue. We talked about it last week. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois just got approved their preferred PPO, 52% premium increase. Our friend and expert in the field, C.S. Tucker, Stephen Tucker, at healthinsurancementors.com, in 20 years of being a practitioner in the space, never seen anything like it. And it's not being talked about like it should be. It's a good point. Morse in Gary, Indiana.
Good morning, Dan, Amy.
Hello.
Bob Creamer still appears to be oozing that sleaze and slime, just like he did with.
Oh, well, do we lose you? Hello?
What's that?
Oh,
yes, I'm here.
I thought you got Julian Assange. All right, Morris, you're still with us. You were saying about Creamer?
I'm talking about Bob Creamer.
Yeah, what about him?
Sorry about that. There's a guy that's oozed sleaze and slime for years and years and years. I guess prison didn't rehabilitate Creamer. I met a fundraiser for Rod Blagojevich. Now I can see why Rod's where he's at.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Thanks for the call.
He learned from the best.
Well, he is married to Calamity Jan Schakowsky. Maybe
36 years, by the way, they've been married.
Maybe he just wants to go back to prison.
Dan,
Did you ever think of that?
Marriage is prison. Yeah. No, I'm sure she had some strong words for him when he got home last night.
Raquel in
What did you do?
Raquel in Bolingbrook.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I love you guys, but I have to take issue with something Amy said. Amy is falling into the trap, as many Republicans do. We're all high-minded, and I do want to hear more about policy in this upcoming debate. However, Hillary Clinton quoted Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high.
Yeah.
They never go high. They always go low. I am tired of Republicans bringing a butter knife to the gunfight. And I love it that Donald Trump is bringing Obama's brother to the debate. And I love it that he's also bringing I think it was one of the Blue Star moms to the debate. this is our time. This is one thing that he has done that no other presidential candidate has done, and he has played them exactly the way they play us. And I am tired of being played by Democrats. So don't get caught in the trap, Amy. Just understand this. Understand that we need to start doing to them exactly what they do to us. Yes, I'm not talking about creamer business. I'm just talking about being equally as in their face with what they do. Hillary would think nothing of bringing this person that works for Obama. Person that worked for Trump at the debate. So I'm glad that he's bringing them. Yep. Right. It just highlights the fact. It highlights the fact that Hillary, that Obama and Hillary and the rest of the Democrats don't really care about the things they say they care about. Obama's brother was in Kenya. Obama's done nothing for him. Right, that's exactly what they do to the poor folks and the middle class here.
Thanks, Raquel.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
No. Your phone call's coming up, 312-642-5600 is the number. Numbers in the weather department, pretty warm today, a high of 70 degrees. Enjoy it because temperatures are going to fall throughout the week. Today, plenty of sunshine. Tonight, we have a chance of a shower. And tomorrow, a morning shower. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun. It'll be breezy, a high of 59 degrees. How's that inbound Edens shaping up? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, it's Jam. Dempster to Cicero. A crash there has moved from the left lane to the right shoulder. It's 44 minutes. Lake Cote to Montrose, outbound 22. The Kennedy, now 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 50 minutes from Manheim, outbound 45 to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson. Boy, it's been a rough morning now before Lakeshore Drive. There's a stalled truck on the right lane. It is an hour and 18 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, 50 minutes from the Tri-State. Up on 49 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. It's always getting heavy, especially the northbound Veterans Memorial, just really slow. I-55 most of the way to St. Charles after the Army Trail toll to 290. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their 3 co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, let's get some more of your calls about what you hope to see at the debate tonight or who you hope to see. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. You know, I think sticking with personal themes would be fun. I'd like to see people that are there that look like Lenin, maybe Stalin, who would applaud violently and wildly whenever Hillary makes a point, because that's who she represents. I hope that Donald the Sane shows up, not Donald the Ranter. I'm a little bit concerned because he seems to take pride in his lack of preparation. You know, I hardly think that he goes into a business deal with no preparation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Probably the biggest business deal of his life. Treat it more seriously and shred that Hillary. Get her off of the national stage. And Dan, I don't understand this, Amy. A couple of the guests that have come on that have national voices, that they either write nationally, have national radio spots, whatever, have not yet, I think, focused on all this James O'Keefe stuff coming out. I don't know whether they think that this is just a peripheral oddity or something, but hey, he brought down Acorn, and he's going to be releasing something every day between now and the election. Wake up, people. The corruption goes all the way to the top. I hope that Obama and Hillary get named in some of this stuff, and people have finally wake up and say, look, we cannot support this type of corruption.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. You know,
it's
just
slowly trickling into the mainstream media.
It is, and we're obviously reporting it. We've had some other people on the show that have pointed to it as well. But here's something, too, just in the point of how serious this is, where our country's at. He talked about, kind of jokingly, did Ralph, about to dress up like Stalin and Hitler and wildly applaud Hillary. It wouldn't have an impact on a lot of Americans. This comes to us from the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, their first annual report on U.S. attitudes towards socialism. Hat tip to Mark Perry over at Carpe Diem blog for providing it. 1 in 4 Americans and 1 in 3 millennials believe more people were killed under George W. Bush than Joseph Stalin.
Oh, boy.
Roughly half of millennials believe communism is still a problem, but compared to 80% of baby boomers, 91% of elderly. Half of Generation Z, the cohort following millennials, said they would vote for a socialist. Only 42% of millennials have a favorable view of capitalism. But I mean, the idea that 1 in 4 Americans in general, 1/3 of millennials believe more people were killed under George W. Bush than Joseph Stalin.
Oh, that is frightening.
That's
that'll have you have election disorder anxiety.
And that's a job that can't be remedied, that can't be addressed in a single debate by a single candidate.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
As Americans, we have many issues to consider this election cycle. But those of us in Cook County also have the big issue of property taxes, which are driving some people out of their homes, their county, and their state.
I'm Dan Patlack, Commissioner of the Cook County Board of Review. I've worked hard to increase access to the appeal process and ensure fair assessments. Last year, more appeals were filed with the board than ever in the history of Cook County or the nation, and the Cook County Board of Review was ready. As the only Republican in a tax system controlled by the other party, I represent balance and someone who will fight for you. With over 20 years of experience in property valuation as a realtor, certified assessing officer, board analyst, township assessor, and commissioner, and with a background fighting unfair taxation and wasteful spending, I want to continue working for fair assessments on your behalf. I'm Dan Patlack, and I ask for your vote.
Dan Patlack, the qualified candidate for Cook County Board of Review, endorsed by the Chicago Tribune. Visit electpatlack.com. Paid for by citizens for Dan Patlack.
Guess what? If you haven't purchased a MyPillow yet, you're in luck. Through the month of October, you can get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of 1. It's great. Those Go Anywhere pillows, I have mine with me. I'm taking it on the plane. I can't live without it. The reason why people love My Pillow, because the National Sleep Foundation agrees that it is the best because they named it their official pillow. It's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. It's a great health investment, and you will sleep better. I know I do. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, you'll get 2 premium My Pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one. Or call 800-489-0201, mention the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Will Donald Trump go the way of Wendell Willkie? We'll ask Steve Moore at 7:37.
And believe it or not, men are starting to shave their what? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
I have swimmers. I know what they shave. 54 degrees outside. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton will take the stage in Las Vegas tonight for their third and final presidential debate. This morning in Las Vegas, Fox's Mike Emanuel with the latest.
Hillary Clinton, her aides say, is ready for tonight's debate. Clinton arrived here yesterday afternoon Pacific time and did some more debate prep last night. Her aides say the debate prep has gotten a little bit more easy after doing this now several times. Their hope is folks will appreciate how Hillary Clinton stands up to Donald Trump and that she doesn't care what kind of attacks he launches at her. The latest Fox News poll asked about whether she was lying about how her emails were handled. 67%, 2/3 of those likely voters surveyed said yes, 23% said no, so look for WikiLeaks to come up to be a big issue tonight. They will turn it to try to say blame the Russians for hacking. She will seek to go on offense on those allegations against Donald Trump by those women.
Clinton, for her part, is facing a new round of questions this morning about authenticity and trustworthiness. Colorado's governor has ordered the National Guard to help fight a small wildfire destroying 5 homes, forcing hundreds to evacuate near the small town of Westcliff. Faculty members at 14 Pennsylvania state universities are on strike, impacting more than 100,000 students. In Iraq, a wide-scale operation to retake the militant-held city of Mosul has entered its third day. A senior Iraqi general is calling on Iraqis fighting for ISIS in Mosul to surrender. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be going on strike. Union officials announcing early this morning that they reached a tentative deal with the UNO Charter School Network. About 8,000 city students will be in session today. Chicago alderman under federal investigation over allegations that he improperly used campaign money for personal expenses. The Tribune was first to report Willie Cochran has paid himself more than $131,000 out of his campaign fund. Cubs are now trailing the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1. Rich Hill outdueling Jake Arrieta. L.A. hosts Game 4 of the NLCS tonight. On the ice, Blackhawks over Phillies 7-4. Marian Hossa with career goal number 500. The news, a service of TrueCar. If you're ready to buy a new car, download that TrueCar app. Just configure the new car you want and then see what others paid for it and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar dealers. It's that easy. Save time and save money. Download the TrueCar app today. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher calls some Republicans to the mat.
More and more Republicans are suddenly telling Trump to stop complaining about a rigged system in this election. You know why? Because of all the spineless Republicans who are refusing to help get this guy across the finish line and stop Hillary Clinton. And you know what? Frankly, I'd allege that's part of the rigged system, too.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Hey, you own guns. Are you storing them in the best place? A Liberty Safe from Maxson Shooter Supply in Des Plaines? Maxson is Illinois' first NSSF 5-star range and the largest Liberty Safe dealer. Hey, Maxson stocks the complete line of Liberty Safes, the best money can buy. Not in stock? Maxson orders it, ships it to your curb, or installs it anywhere in your home. Liberty Safes are made in America for over 25 years. Millions of American homes have trusted Liberty Safes to protect their guns, keep them out of the reach of children, and protect their valuables from theft and fire. Liberty stands behind every safe with a lifetime warranty. If anyone tries to break into your Liberty Safe, they'll repair or replace it for free. Choose the best. Trust a Liberty Safe from Maxon, Shooter Supply and Displays to have your Liberty Safe delivered. Go to maxonshooters.com/safes. That's MAXON shooters.com/safes. Do it today.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
7:38. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, delays started to Dempster. A crash at Cicero's on the right shoulder. It's improved. 33 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. Eisenhower's an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 45 minutes. Stevenson, an hour, 15, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Early MS Cermak before Lakeshore Drive with a stall in the right lane. Outbound 47 minutes. The Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, Jan. Beverly to Roselle with a stall in the center lane. Veterans Royal, heavy I-55 most of the way to St. Charles and the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink, toner, and printers. Redesigned lightning fast HP Office Jet Pro is now at Staples. You can save up to $100. For limited time, see store or staples.com for details. Restrictions, limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicago forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sun today, high near 70. Showers overnight, low 50, and morning showers tomorrow, only a high of 59. Currently 51 at O'Hare. It is a 55 along the lakefront, 55 at Midway. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Dan and Amy, we're going to get to Steve Moore, economic advisor to the Trump campaign, in just a second. But, Amy, I do want to note, it was looking so good. 1908 to 1908, the Cubs won the World Series.
Why you got to talk? Yeah,
In
okay.
1908, William Howard Taft, Republican, beat William Jennings Bryan, Democrat.
You voted twice in that election, right?
I did what I had to do.
Okay.
But now it looks like, after making Rich Hill look like Walter Johnson, the Cubs have scored their last postseason run in the 21st century.
Hey, just because we haven't scored a run in 16 innings doesn't mean that that's going to happen tonight.
I believe it's 18.
18.
9 plus
yeah,
9 is 18.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no,
well,
not a
we had
problem.
2 hits last night. Chris Bryant had 2 hits, and Anthony Rizzo stole a base.
And
But nobody scored.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I'm not sure where the Trump campaign stands, other than by looking at the polling numbers in the battleground states and the RCP average and so forth. But it seems pretty clear that he's got to offer something game-changing in the debate tonight. We've been soliciting people's calls in terms of what that would be. Jane from Burr Ridge has an idea that would be a newsmaker. Hey, Jane, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, I would like to hear the T word, T being not for truth. Well, I'd like to hear that too, but for treason. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard it yet. I mean, if stealing elections, intimidation, suborning the Justice Department, FBI, IRS, State Department, EPA, ICE, if all of that is not treason, how about letting Rosatom, that's Russia's nuclear agency, how about letting them get control of American uranium? How for $145 million to the Clinton Foundation? How about giving Stinger missiles to radical Islamist terrorists? I would love to hear Chris Wallace be the one, not Trump, but Chris Wallace be the one to use that word, and I would love to have him ask her about why Chris Stevens was in Benghazi and why we couldn't send the planes in.
Yeah.
The Stinger missiles, that's
All right.
why.
Thanks for the call, Jane. And
Well,
boy,
hopefully, since he's bringing Sean Smith's mother, that topic will finally come up.
last debate, he said he would ask his attorney general to appoint a special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton, that she belonged in jail. Maybe tonight he suggests capital punishment for treason. For Jane. For more on tonight's debate, Steve Moore, two O's, joins us now. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Morning. So,
By the way, I'm going to make two predictions right out of the gate.
Okay.
Tonight, the Cubs win and Trump wins.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Stephen, I'm going to the game.
Such a homer. All right. He's got bigger
He
things to
doesn't
worry
care
about.
that we're going to the Cubs game.
Your final last best advice to Trump when it comes time to talk about matters economic, Steve Moore.
Well, look, I'm really frustrated, I think, as so many Trump supporters are, that the conversation for the last 3 or 4 weeks has been on anything but policy issues. And, I laugh when Hillary says, we want to make this about, the issues of the day. No, she doesn't. She doesn't want to talk about the economy. She doesn't want to talk about, crime on the streets. That there's been 3,000 shootings in Chicago this year. She doesn't want to talk about the Islamic terrorists. She wants to talk about Donald Trump's dalliances. And by the way, Donald Trump obviously shares a lot of the blame for this because he has distracted people from the real issues of the day. But I don't think it's too late. Look, if he gets back to how we're going to create jobs, how we're going to get this economy growing at 4% for 5 years. I've been saying that on Fox for the last 3 months. We can do this. We can grow this economy much faster. I think Trump wins because the one poll number that you didn't cite, Dan, that is important. Yeah. 3 out of 4 Americans think the country is going in the wrong direction. If you think the country is going in the wrong direction, how do you vote for Hillary Clinton?
Right.
All right. So tonight's
That's
debate.
a question that he should pose to the American people tonight, actually.
Yeah. So Trump does well when he talks about national security, trade, all of that. Those are his strong points. But is he going to dive into this sexual allegations against Hillary's husband again? Because I don't want to hear about it. You think he is?
Look, I agree with you. I think he's off message. It's that simple. He is off message. And by the way, Amy, as you know, for the last 3 or 4 months, you have been my one-person focus group. And, right now we have a contest between a womanizer and a pathological liar. And I wonder which one you're leaning towards right now.
I
sorry.
need to see the third debate. I'm
Wait,
one of those.
I'm sorry. Who's the womanizer and who's the pathological liar?
Dan's reading National Enquirer.
But it is, look, people are disgusted with this election. And we got such huge mega issues. The numbers just came out by the Census Bureau, for example, last week, that for the first 6 months of this year, median family incomes have declined by another $400. And we just can't keep this up. We're on a downward decline. The economy is not performing as it should be. And God forbid that we have 4 or 8 more years of this.
Do you think we're at a stage in this country where, a businessman can't win? A businessman doesn't have the attractiveness that maybe they did once upon a time, although the last non-office holder business person to be a presidential nominee was Wendell Willkie, and he got his clock cleaned by FDR in 1940. But, my point is to say that capitalism is a bad word among half the population. And so kind of Trump's value prop as a successful businessman has more limited appeal than we'd like to believe it has.
Well, Hillary has done a great job of basically attacking Trump's business practices, which are ridiculous. You can say a lot of things about Donald Trump, and, I can't defend some of the things he said and a lot of the ways he's acted, but you cannot attack. This is a great businessman. He's created one of the great models, brands in the world, literally, and he has been extremely successful, and he employs tens of thousands of people. Hillary wouldn't know how to run a lemonade stand. She's never run a business. She's never worked for a business, for goodness sakes. She's been in politics. She's a career politician. And by the way, one of the things that Trump brought up yesterday, I thought was a great issue. We should have a constitutional amendment to have term limits on members of Congress. I love that idea. Let's drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. 3 of the 5 wealthiest counties in America today are in D.C. And Dan, And Amy, we don't produce anything. All we produce is politicians and rules and mandates and lobbyists.
So what kind of Trump are we going to see tonight? A presidential Trump, a disciplined Trump, or do you have no idea? We're just going to have to watch
Frankly,
and see.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many different. Here's the point. You know, the first and even the second debate, which the second debate he won, but he didn't do well enough because what he has failed to do, make the sale with the American people that he can be president, and he hasn't acted presidential, frankly. And you know, but I've seen Trump in private. I've flown with him. I've been at events with him. I've actually had meals with him. I mean, the guy is. There's a different persona in private than in public, and he's got to show that he has this kind of commanding presence, that he knows how to run things, that he's going to turn the economy around, and that he isn't distracted by the skirt that's next to him, and that's a big problem. Amy, we're losing Republican women voters, and that's why he's behind in the polls. It's very simple. He has to earn back the trust of Republican women.
What do you
and Amy, what do you want to hear? You're my focus group. What do you want to hear him say tonight?
National security, immigration, the economy, trade. I do not want to hear about Bill Clinton's accusers. I do not want to hear Hillary talk about Donald Trump and his boorish behavior and all of that.
Right.
I just want to stay focused.
What about the line of argumentation he's really focused on this week about the system being rigged? There are other people who've suggested the system is rigged too, like Elizabeth Warren. She just says it's the banks rigging it. Like President Obama, they'll do anything to rig the system. People say the game is rigged. That was Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail. A rigged economy was Bernie Sanders. Illinois isn't broken, it's fixed. A great man once said.
Dan Proft said
so my point is to say the idea that you have elites gaming the system to their benefit and to your detriment, generally speaking, American people, this is not a new line of argumentation. Do you think to me, it's consistent with his kind of outsider, insurgent, anti-ruling class market positioning. Is that a good message to continue tonight?
Yeah, I think that the heart of the matter is very simple, that Hillary is the epitome of the ruling class. And the ruling class, the reason these emails are so interesting, to read the WikiLeaks, is how contemptuous Hillary is of and liberals in general are contemptuous of working class Americans, and they thumb their nose at these people. And when she said in the last debate, when I said that you people are deplorable and that you're irredeemable and racist and sexist, I was talking about you, Donald, not your voters. Well, that's simply not true. She was talking about his voters, and she does think liberals think half of the American population is degenerate and stupid, and we're not stupid. Just because you're conservative doesn't mean you're stupid. I mean, she's the one who is adopting stupid policy. So yeah, I love the theme, Dan, of she represents the ruling class. Donald Trump represents the working class.
All right, he is Steve Moore, Trump economic policy advisor. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Enjoy the debate.
Hey guys. All right, see you next week. Take care.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Start to a gorgeous day. Plenty of sunshine, a few high clouds. No big deal. We're going to have a crisp fall day, a high of 70 degrees. Tonight, a low in the 50s. And tomorrow morning, there'll be a shower in areas. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun. It'll be breezy and cooler, a high in the upper 50s. Let's get those travel times. How's it going out there? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, this morning it's heavier than usual on southbound 53. Stop and go from Dundee to Kirchhoff. The 8 heavy with a crash at Cicero on the right side. 33 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 24. The Kennedy, 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown outbound 54. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 47 minutes. Stevenson an hour and 11 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 56 minutes. There's a stall at Kedzie in the right lane. Orion is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy 21 to 176. Northbound Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The eastbound Adams Tollway is very messy. Beverly to Roselle after a stall. That's traffic. AM 560, The Answer.
What's your caliber? You've heard me talk about Black Rhino holsters for concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting. When you see how comfortable and safe they are, you'll want one for all of your firearms. They're handcrafted in Illinois by veterans using 100% virgin Kydex and American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino holster is the finest affordable holster. With a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment, we hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That's 847-783-6499 or the website blackrhinoconcealment.com.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Per the WikiLeaks emails of Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, we confirm that, paraphrasing football coach Dennis Green, Hillary and her Boond are who we thought they were. The emails verify the bigot baiters are the bigots. A Catholic woman who takes her faith seriously is a contemptible shill for dictatorship. The state is the church. Hillary is its high priestess. You shall genuflect. The emails confirm the Departments of Justice and State to be Hillary campaign appendages. Unprofessional, extralegal contact was not limited to Bill Clinton and AG Loretta Lynch. While FBI Director Comey was doing his best Inspector Clouseau routine, Hillary's plumbers were busy gaming the investigation and subverting the public's right to know. The emails corroborate the D.C. press corps' collusion. Editors coordinate the timing of op-eds for maximum exposure. Reporters give Hillary veto power over quotes, and cable network pundits slip her debate questions in advance. Mostly the emails establish the big government, big media complex to be full of venal intellectual lightweights who do indeed find everyone outside of it unredeemable. The Herculean task to clean out the ruling class's Augean stables needs a beginning. November 8th is it.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, hey, how about this? You know, these rumors bubble up to the surface and then recede, but they're bubbling up again, Amy.
I'm singing the song. Goes around.
You know who sings this?
Why. Wait. Ooh. Deep Purple.
Hair band.
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple. 80s hair band.
Twisted Sister.
No.
Oh. Give me a lifeline. Give me a
Rat.
Ah.
Yeah, she should
I
know
should
that.
know that.
Chicago, rat capital of the world.
Yeah, we are the rat capital of the world, and I pick up rats every day.
Perfect segue. Michelle Obama being recruited to come run for mayor of Chicago?
No.
Or maybe U.S. Senate. Dick Durbin may be in his last term, or he's considering a gubernatorial bid in 18. Emanuel's up in 19. Mayor. Wouldn't it be great to have Michelle Obama come back and be mayor of Chicago or U.S. Senator?
I don't know much about a lot in this world, but I will tell you right now, from what I know of Michelle Obama, she is no way in HE double hockey sticks going to run for office. She can't stand the whole process, everything about it, and she will not.
She can't stand the electorate, and the feeling's mutual.
Yes.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Novelist and philosopher Ayn Rand was a teenager when the Soviets first allowed foreign films to be shown in Russian movie theaters. The shots of streets and skylines offered Rand the first precious glimpses of a land that resonated with her vision of the ideal, America. America, a land dedicated to protecting the freedom of the individual, stood in sharp contrast to the collectivism of communist Russia where she grew up. Rand would eventually escape Russia and immigrate to America, a place where society thrived and each individual was free to pursue his own life and happiness. She described it as the greatest, the noblest, and in its original founding principles, the only moral country in the history of the world. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brooks' Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. This is Michael Medved, and I've done some research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day. Now, he does it by attracting multiple full-price offers that increase demand and help sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net. That's callsaul, S-A-U-L.net. Or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul.net. Or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 800-98-STEEL. 800-98-STEEL. That's 800-987-8335.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Crib notes on the Hillary scandals in advance of tonight's debate. We'll discuss with Ed Timberlake, a former congressional investigator, at 8:08.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Dodgers shut out the Cubs. Chicago alderman under federal investigation. And the Blackhawks get past the Flyers. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Round 3. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton will debate for a final time tonight.
I'm hoping a little bit more substance out of Trump and less BS out of Hillary.
The debate's in 12 hours in Las Vegas, where Fox's John Decker is live.
Hillary Clinton arrived in Las Vegas yesterday. She spent the last few days away from the campaign trail preparing for tonight's debate. Donald Trump also arrived here yesterday after attending a rally in Colorado in which he renewed his claim that the election is being rigged for Hillary Clinton.
The press has created a rigged system and poisoned the minds of the voters.
Trump is trailing in crucial battleground state polls. The Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, has essentially conceded the race to Clinton, and a steady stream of women have accused Trump of inappropriate sexual behavior, all of which he denies. Dave?
Now, John, you can watch tonight's debate on Fox News Channel and hear it on many Fox News radio stations. A new Fox poll gives Clinton a 6-point lead nationally, even though more independents back Trump. He's also leading among whites and veterans. The Democrat has much more support from women and young voters. More people view Trump unfavorably, but 67% of those surveyed think Clinton is lying about her email controversy. A Russian hacker suspected of cyber attacks in the U.S. has been arrested in the Czech Republic. A high school will reopen this morning in San Francisco the day after 4 students were shot in the parking lot after classes got out, sending kids back in.
I saw people running through the hallway. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a prank. But by the look on everybody's face, that's just something you can't fake.
One of the students, a girl, was critically injured. Police are still looking looking for 4 suspects. About 5 hours ago, an American was launched into space. Shane Kimbrough and 2 Russians are on that Soyuz rocketing to the International Space Station. They'll arrive on Friday for a 4-month stay. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
We have sunshine this morning, 53 degrees. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be walking out on strike. Union officials announcing early this morning they've reached a tentative deal with the UNO Charter School Network, and classes for 8,000 city kids will be in session today. Cubs are trailing the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1. Rich Hill outpitches the Cubs, and skipper Joe Madden says while the team may be in a tough spot, he still believes.
Listen, I got a lot of faith in our guys. It's a difficult moment to be in, to come back out here on the first game here. 2 more left before we get to go home. And you have to fight through some pretty stringent adversity. But that's how this thing works sometimes.
Other news we're following this morning, a Chicago alderman is under federal investigation. Willie Cochran, it's alleged, improperly used campaign money for personal expenses. A key figure in the bribery scandal that brought down the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools is pleading guilty in federal court. Gary Solomon is a co-owner of Soups, a training company for school administrators that won a $23 million no-bid contract package rigged with the help of then CPS CEO Barbara Bird Bennett. Chicago craft beer maker Revolution Brewing says it's being forced to recall about 10,000 barrels of several varieties of beer because they just don't taste right. Founder Josh Death says it's a big financial loss for his company and a blow to Revolution's reputation. The recall involves specific batches of 6 kinds of beer, and while some will be pulled from store shelves, Death admits much of it may have already been consumed. NHL, Blackhawks over Philadelphia 7-4. The News is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, another Wall Street bank is reporting better than expected earnings. Morgan Stanley's profit is sharply higher and was stronger than expected. It was helped by a rebound in trading. More people signed up for a mortgage last week, an increase of 3% from the week before. The Mortgage Bankers Association says the number of applications is 18.5% higher than a year ago. Mortgage rates are still historically low, but at the highest level since June, averaging 3.73% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, with about a third of a point. With interest rates a little higher, refinancings declined last week. Today marks the 29th anniversary of Black Monday, October 19, 1987. The Dow dropped 508 points, but that was its largest one-day percentage decline on record, 22%. The Dow gained 75 points yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Debate number 2 got personal.
Bill Clinton was abusive to women.
Real personal.
We've seen him embarrass women.
So will the third and final debate be more of the same? Will Hillary continue the assault on Trump's personal life?
I know you're into big diversion tonight.
And will Trump point his sights again on Hillary's mounting email scandal?
There has never been so many lies.
Join us for the final debate, Trump-Clinton, tonight. Pre-debate coverage begins with Joe Walsh, starting at 5. Hear the debate at 8 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
8:07. A check of the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Like eastbound 8094, it's stop and go Klein past Burr with a crash in the two left lanes. Heavy on southbound 53 this morning, Dundee to Kirchhoff. Northbound little slow Algonquin to Kirchhoff. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 36. The Kennedy, 46 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. The Eisenhower's an hour and 18 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound it is 45 minutes on the Stevenson. An hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 58 minutes with a stall at Kenzie in the right lane. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, slow 120 to 176. Northbound Cicero most of the way to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway very slow, 25 to Roselle after a stall. And a little slow Elmhurst Road to the Des Plaines Oasis. Veterans Memorial delays are from the Des Plaines River Bridge to the Reagan Tollway. Butterfield to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 70, mostly cloudy with a shower. Tonight, low 50. A morning shower in the area, otherwise breezy with clouds giving way to some sun tomorrow, high of 59. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
52 at O'Hare, 54 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio, the show dedicated to the red meat issues, including gun control, privacy, and freedom of speech. Heard Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We manipulated the vote with money and action, not with law.
You start whining before the game's even over. If whenever things are going badly for you and you lose, you start blaming somebody else, then you don't have what it takes to be in this job.
When it comes to Washington, D.C., it is time to drain the damn swamp.
Wastewater just dumping all out in the street, pouring out in the storm drain. I don't care who you are, that's just wrong.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking before the news about Dem operatives in Chicago very desirous of Michelle Obama coming back to run for U.S. Senate, if Dick Durbin were to run for governor in 2018, or maybe even mayor in 2019. Sean from Elmwood Park tweeted, because he's a multi-platform artist.
And he's got the best tweets ever. Sorry, Dan, but he's...
Well, it's one woman's opinion.
And my woman.
Yeah. My woman.
My woman.
Okay. You
Wow.
are your woman.
Wow.
Okay. That's sort of a twist on Helen Reddy, but okay.
Whew.
Good news about Michelle Obama running for Chicago mayor, Sean from Elmwood Park tweets, is we get rid of the office booster seat and we don't have to take out the urinal.
Oh.
And of course, he's suggesting how enlightened Michelle Obama is because she supports gender-neutral bathrooms. Mm-hmm. That's obviously what he's referencing, isn't it? I had this idea for Scott Foval, one of the fixers on the James O'Keefe tapes, and Billy Bush, that celebrity suck-up who just got fired for hanging out with Donald Trump. And
he got wrongly fired.
And then Anthony Weiner and Ken Bone.
Right.
Bone, Weiner, Bush, Foval? That they would...
No, I just like Bone, Weiner, Bush.
Yeah, well, the Real World remake. And if Donald Trump doesn't win the presidency, then they can all live in a house together. That's the first show that Trump TV buys. But now it turns out Weiner may be, the Weiner case may be before a grand jury before Election Day. So Anthony Weiner may be going away.
For what? Which?
Well, for for
Soliciting a minor sexually?
Yeah, and not to mention the.
I just wasn't sure if there's
I mean,
anything
there's
else.
all of the Anthony Weiner's crimes against humanity.
They taken that kid away yet?
Thinking about maybe he could be replaced by Bob Creamer, who's Calamity Jan's convicted felon husband, but he may be going to prison again too, and it seems like he wants to, and I understand why.
He got a little comfortable. Got a little too sloppy there, didn't he?
No, I think he wants to go back to jail to get away from Calamity Jan. I think that makes sense. Speaking of calamities, Hillary Clinton's tenure at the State Department, and a quick note on the scandals that have been unearthed with the WikiLeaks emails. We got Clinton Foundation donors expecting benefits in return for gifts. Obama's cabinet being picked, influenced certainly by a Citigroup executive during the bailout a month before the election, former Citigroup exec Michael Froman. Clinton, of course, Hillary in her Wall Street speeches, where she was sidling up to all those Wall Street bankers, not chiding him as she suggested. Qatar, Islamic theocracy, giving Bill Clinton $1 million for his birthday. Clinton campaign in 2008, making the Obama Muslim Connect, wanting to use Obama's Coke usage. So not really going high when they go low, as she suggested. And then discussing hiding emails from Obama, then deleting them, the private versus public position, and so on and so forth. And that's just in the WikiLeaks emails. We're not even getting to the FBI docs yet. And for more on this topic area, which will certainly come up in some form or fashion in tonight's debate, we're pleased to be joined by Ed Timperlake, who's a former congressional investigator who worked on cases involving the Clinton administration in the 90s, like that curious matter of laundering Chinese money into campaign coffers. He's also the author of the New York Times bestselling book, Year of the Rat. Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
No, it's a real treat for me for another reason also. My wife is a proud graduate of the Circle.
Oh,
yeah, and Aquinas. So it's a treat to talk to your listeners.
Very good. Well, just a little bit of background on your investigation of the Clintons back 20 years ago, and what that told you, what you learned about them and their operations that may be relevant 20 years later.
Well, it's very relevant. Thank you for putting me on again. I was assigned, I worked for Big Ed Lewinsky also when he was VA secretary.
Oh, sure.
I was assigned to do the investigation on the Chinese intelligence operation against the President Clinton's administration and the Russian mob. I had two portfolios. And quite frankly, we documented a lot of money in, the money in, and then the favors out. The favors out were published in a congressional report. Chairman Cox and Norm Dix ranking, both members voted out 9-0, 5 Republicans, 4 Democrats, and it told the reader all the military equipment that China had gotten, all the high technology stuff. Why is that pertinent today? Because they went into the labs and got our stuff off the test benches and all our high-tech stuff, and now they fielded the most modern military in the Pacific Theater, which is directly threatening the children and the brothers, mothers, sisters of all your listeners that are in service over there. But it's worse than that, because all the stuff they got bounced to places like North Korea, who shares with Pakistan, who shares with Iran. So the bottom line is the case in the 90s resonates today. Now, why is that important? Because I've been around 20 years on this, is that was chump change then. $50,000 to get in the White House from military intelligence in those days seemed like a lot of money. Today, they're talking in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. So what is going to happen in the future that they've sold out on? What are the extortion points? What is the money in Iran going, $150 billion, going to flow back to take down Israel, to put rockets with nukes on it, threatening Europe, eventually reaching America? So the bottom line is the pattern and practice of Clinton, starting, by the way, in Arkansas, bouncing into the presidency, is alive and well today in WikiLeaks, and it's as current as everything you're talking about this morning. And that's the consequences then, now, and into the future that your listeners really should pay attention to, because it threatens our very national security.
Well, this is a bit of a pedestrian question, but are the Clintons good people, Hillary, Bill?
No.
And
no,
why,
they're not.
Why not?
And I know that for a fact. I've dealt with them. I actually flew down to Arkansas to have lunch with Bill Clinton. He was going to get the governors to vote him Veterans Governor of the Year. And a friend, Chad Colley, head of the DAV, he had one arm left. He was blown up pretty badly. And he was outraged. He was going to say, if that happened, Bill Clinton, who dodged the draft in a very ugly way, was going to try and take claim for being a veterans advocate. Chad was going to go to the governor's mansion and do a press report conference. Bill backed down on that one. The quote has always been, and I was neck deep with all the reporters when they were honest. The New York Times and Washington Post in the 90s followed this, was that Bill liked to hug people, and Hillary Clinton was the most greediest kind of politician they've seen in a long time. And I think the greed and is really a driving factor in their relationship. Greed to power, power to greed, no accountability.
And,
that's a simple formula.
And I got to say, turning to the FBI document release this week, and hearkening back to their investigation of Hillary Clinton at State, and the emails and the private server and all that matter. Boy, the juxtaposition of a 4-star Marine general, James Cartwright, pleading guilty this week to essentially violating the law with respect to classified information, confirming leaked classified information to reporters. Him pleading guilty with the prospect of 5 years in prison, he'll get significantly less, but still. While Hillary Clinton walks away from all that we now know, and we're continuing to learn with each release of documents, whether from WikiLeaks or from the FBI, and all of the seeming unrest within the Federal Bureau of Investigations about how Comey handled the investigation. Boy, you couldn't have a starker contrast. A decorated 4-star Marine general who is a former vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff pleading out the rule of law applies to him, but it doesn't seem to apply to Hillary Clinton.
You asked a fundamental question about are they good people. I know Hoss Cartwright. He married the widow of a classmate of mine who was killed in a tragic F-4 crash. I was an F-4 fighter pilot in the Marines Naval Academy. He married the widow and raised the family. He was a decent man in a time of horror when you're a young widow with kids, and Hoss Cartwright was in the squadron, and that's his wife today. So you talk about the decency of people versus the way they get out of it, and they bully and they control law enforcement all the way up through Arkansas to today. It's astonishing. We used to have Louis Freeh come into our office. I was a junior guy. Chairman Solomon of the Rules Committee could bring him in, and he was crushed because Janet Reno in those days was stepping on law enforcement. It looks like today the same thing has happened with the Attorney General and the Director of FBI. I know the FBI. I was assigned to work for the FBI for 5 years as the highest level counterintelligence individual from the Pentagon. They're great people. Those agents are wonderful. This is breaking my heart more than anything to watch the FBI have this problem at the top. I don't understand it.
Well, what do you make of James Comey not recommending charges?
I can't believe that. That is tragic. My grandfather, I'm being very personal here, but my grandfather was a career New York City police officer. And the worst thing in the world would be to be called a dirty cop. The FBI is called in to clean up police departments. So I believe it was Joseph DeGenova, a U.S. prosecutor, used that term. I would never want that term used with my name in law enforcement, and that's what he just said. It's his words, not mine. But that's the kind of resonation at the highest levels going out to the American people about the integrity of the FBI. It's an ugly time for America right now.
All right. He is Ed Timperlake, former congressional investigator and author of the New York Times bestseller, Year of the Rat. Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
No, thanks for putting me on. I really appreciate it. And go Cubs.
All right. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. And Ed joined us on our Go Cubs Turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine, a few high clouds, a great day, a high of 70 degrees. Then tonight we have a passing shower in spots, and morning showers will greet you. Otherwise, clouds breaking for some sun. It's going to be cold tomorrow, breezy, a high of in the upper 50s. Let's get those high travel times. Maybe they're not so bad. Let's find out with Jim Telemonte.
Some places it's getting better, Amy. The Edens inbound now just 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 41. Kennedy with delays starting at Foster, 53 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 40. The Eisenhower's an hour and 18 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 46 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 9 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 48 minutes. Ryan, 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow in pockets from Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway, Reagan Tollway getting better quickly, but the northbound Veterans Memorial, it is slow from the Des Plaines River Bridge to the Reagan Tollway and from Lake Street to 290. Southbound 53 slow ran to Kirchhoff. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
And I could say go Cubs Turnkey.pro answer line because David Kolsak is a huge Cub fan and he has season tickets. So we know that you've heard the name Turnkey IT for years on this radio station, and you know that they do something for IT for business. The truth is that Turnkey IT supports users, not simply computer devices. Now, the average consumer now has just under 4 connected devices that they use daily: smartphones, tablets, laptops, desktops. And these devices connect to fitness devices, watches, thermostats, and even refrigerators. Now, the professionals at Turnkey IT help you connect all of them together so your company is as connected as you want it to be. Turnkey IT has a team of professionals who help users every day, just like you and me. From the simplest to the most complex systems, they make technology workable, usable, and reliable. So if you're tired of just settling for technology and want to really make your technology work for you, then please visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to get your tech world spinning. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro.
The following is a paid political announcement.
As Americans, we have many issues to consider this election cycle. But those of us in Cook County also have the big issue of property taxes, which are driving some people out of their homes, their county, and their state.
I'm Dan Patlack, Commissioner of the Cook County Board of Review. I've worked hard to increase access to the appeal process and ensure fair assessments. Last year, more appeals were filed with the board than ever in the history of Cook County or the nation, and the Cook County Board of Review was ready. As the only Republican in a tax system controlled by the other party, I represent balance and someone who will fight for you. With over 20 years of experience in property valuation as a realtor, certified assessing officer, board analyst, township assessor, and commissioner, and with a background fighting unfair taxation and wasteful spending, I want to continue working for fair assessments on your behalf. I'm Dan Patlack, and I ask for your vote.
Dan Patlack, the qualified candidate for Cook County Board of Review. Endorsed by the Chicago Tribune. Visit electpatlack.com. Paid for by citizens for Dan Patlack.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, now should we drain the swamp? Should we drain the Gwinnett County sewer system?
Yeah.
Or should we disperse the crowd in front of Trump Tower yesterday? We got all kinds of...
Let's start with the protesters facing off outside the Trump Tower. You live nearby. You heard them.
United people never be defeated.
Yeah.
What is it? United
The
something?
people united will never be defeated. In Spanish, it's El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
That's not true.
Anywho, so you had a group of self-described feminists carrying graphic pro-women signs referring, lewd comments that Trump has made about women.
Lewd comments they were making about themselves.
Their signs were disgusting. And a lot of
Yeah.
them were in costume, I think, because they didn't want to be recognized. But a few came forward to talk to the local media.
Women are angry. I mean, we're tired of being silenced, and sexual assault and rape culture is nothing new. So Trump is really just giving us a visible reason. But I think a lot of the women who are here today are here about things that they've been feeling for a long time.
I mean, that's fine. Whatever.
I love
Freedom of
a
speech.
conversation about sexual assault and rape in a sing-songy voice.
Well,
yeah.
these the posters that they're holding up were just embarrassing. I mean, I could never do that. But anyway, there was
I saw the assembled masses
you
there.
did. I sent you a link.
Yeah, and I could only think of the scene when Dufresne goes to Shawshank, and they spray him, delouse him. That's what I wanted to see done: the hose and the delousing material.
Well, across the street were Trump supporters. One had a sign that says Hillary Clinton's a lesbian. That was nice. And
that was the National Enquirer representative.
The Trump supporters were shouting some things at the ladies.
Donald Trump loves women.
Sometimes.
Sorry. He loves all of you.
Donald Trump loves women. He loves all of you. Bleep.
Yeah.
That probably didn't end well.
It didn't. And here's one of the only female Trump supporter.
We are here defending Donald Trump. We believe that
We're defending America.
And defending America. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't put words
She had
in
to
her
let
mouth.
the man finish the sentence for her.
At least she's talking in an adult cadence. That's
Embarrassing. So that was
sing-songy.
a planned march or planned, they had them. There's other anti-Trump
blah,
rallies.
blah, blah. I want to hear
scheduled
about
throughout
Hillary
the city.
taking a dump in Georgia.
Okay, so Hillary didn't dump on Georgia, but one of her campaign buses did. They were driving through lovely Gwinnett County, Georgia. I guess it's a suburb outside of a county outside of Atlanta. And they decided, you know what, we got to dump this human waste so that we could fill her up again.
So they left Hillary by the side of the road.
Hey, no,
Thank
they
you.
decided to drop pounds, gallons of waste
No.
toilet paper. You know, the nasty stuff that smells thousands of miles away. And one guy caught him. Yeah, he took a picture.
Wastewater just dumping all out in the street, pouring out into the storm drain. And at this time, I've got my cell phone out, and I'm taking pictures at this because I don't care who you are. That's just wrong.
Yeah, the arrogance of the Democrats to think that they could just dump their, you know what, on somebody's street. They're trying to get it through the storm drain. There was about like a Dave Matthews move, like, no one's watching, so we'll just dump it here.
Dumping waste out of a Democrat vehicle. The metaphors are endless.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Join the Ayn Rand Institute at AM 560's Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Saturday, October 29th at the Westin in Itasca. Yaron Brook, Executive Director of ARI, will discuss his book, Equal is Unfair. This provocative new book was highlighted last year by co-author Don Watkins and has been eagerly anticipated. ARI fellow and former Institute of Justice attorney Steve Simpson discusses his new book, Defending Free Speech. The idea of free speech is under attack on college campuses and around the world. Find out why and how to defend it. Inside Freedom Summit's Media Rumble Roundtable, Yaron Brook will be alongside Dan Proft, Mike Gallagher, and Guy Benson as they talk about the big issues of this year's election. Then, at 3 p.m., come to the book signing with Yaron and Steve. And finally, at 4 p.m., you won't want to miss the live taping of the Yaron Brook Show with audience Q&A and gifts for all live taping attendees. Find out more at 560theanswer.com, keyword freedom. Join the Ayn Rand Institute at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016.
Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything's going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach with Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy while you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation. So you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now, 877-682-2442. Mention AM560 and you'll receive a free home video study course valued at $247. Call now, 877-682-2442.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We talked to pollster and Fox News contributor Doug Schoen about the state of the race with 3 weeks to go.
And why more men are doing what? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton face off tonight in the third and final presidential debate. Trump campaigning in Colorado keeps insisting vote fraud is a real threat.
They even want to try and rig the election at the polling booths where so many cities are corrupt. And you see that. And then they criticize us for saying that.
Bernie Sanders made a pair of campaign stops in Arizona on behalf of Hillary Clinton ahead of tonight's debate.
Roll up your sleeves, get involved in the fight to transform our country and to make us the nation that you and I know we can become.
Clinton stayed silent ahead of that debate, doing prep, according to her handlers. Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace will be the moderator. Joe Walsh begins our pregame festivities tonight at 5. San Francisco police are looking for whoever shot 4 students outside a high school yesterday. One girl is in critical condition. A filmmaker says a series of videos released reveals Hillary Clinton's campaign sabotaging Donald Trump events. The first video released this week by James O'Keefe.
They're getting the front of the rally so that when Trump comes down the rope line, they're the ones asking him the question in front of the reporters because they're pre-placed there.
Scott Fulval is heard admitting to bird-dogging Trump events and later was fired. A group of Chicago charter school teachers will not be going on strike. Union officials announcing early this morning they've reached a tentative deal with the UNO Charter School Network several hours after the midnight deadline. Cubs trail the Dodgers in the NLCS 2-1. Rich Hill outdueling Jake Arrieta. LA hosts Game 4 of the NLCS tonight. On the ice last night, it was the Blackhawks over Philadelphia 7-4. Marian Hossa with career goal number 500. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher calls some Republicans to the mat.
More and more Republicans are suddenly telling Trump to stop complaining about a rigged system in this election. You know why? Because of all the spineless Republicans who are refusing to help get this guy across the finish line and stop Hillary Clinton. And you know what? Frankly, I'd allege that's part of the rigged system, too.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family. Which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message, unlike the 2 presidential candidates.
8:35, a check of the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, it's stop and go Foster to the Burns Circle. It's 58 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 35 from Montrose, 25 in the Express. Outbound 37 to the airport. Eden's now just 20 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, but outbound 38. The Eisenhower's an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, an hour from Manheim. Outbound 46 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, 59 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42. Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State delays are northbound, 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis, 47th to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway a little sluggish, 25 to Beverly, and Barrington to Roselle. Reagan Tollway slow, 83 to the Tri-State, Veterans Memorial. Stop and go from International Parkway to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sun today, highs 70. Cloudy with a shower, 50 overnight. Cloudy, breezy, cooler tomorrow with a morning shower, high 59. Currently 52 at O'Hare, 56 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Innovative Networks. Communication, technology, and reliability for Chicagoland business. Online at go4inet.com.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, what up? Well, Trump not up where he needs to be. Seems like he needs a fairly strong debate performance tonight to change the trajectory of this race. Talked to a pollster who knows, a friend of mine in Florida, said right now Trump is +1 with absentee ballot voters in Florida, well behind where Mitt Romney was at this point. Romney was +4 at this point, just one indication. He's underperforming Romney in key markets like Jacksonville and the Panhandle, where he should be doing much better. And, of course, without Florida, he's done, just to give you an example. It's not to say it's over. It's to say that the track right now needs to improve for Trump to be victorious. For more on this, let's talk to another expert in the arena. He is also a pollster, consultant, strategist, advisor to both President Clinton and New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg in his career. You see him on Fox News all the time. He's Doug Schoen. Doug, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Dan.
So give us your sense of the kind of the state of the race by the numbers with 3 weeks to go.
Look, I think what you just told your listeners is exactly right. Obama at this point was a couple of points, had a point of Mitt Romney. Right now, Hillary, based on an average of the most recent polls, is up +6, maybe even +7. She's ahead in, I think about 13 of the 14 swing states. And if that pattern continues, she will win a electoral victory of north of 300 electoral votes.
So that said, then how important is this third and final debate tonight for Donald Trump? I mean, he really needs a knockout against Hillary Clinton.
I think that's exactly right, Amy. Unless he is able to score the kind of decisive knockout that he hasn't scored. He lost the first debate, I think, overwhelmingly. The second debate did much better. But unless he's able to really, really dominate the third debate, I would suggest that Secretary Clinton is very, very likely to be our next president.
Well, you keep describing this. He needs a victory. He needs to dominate the debate. Where, in terms of voter attitudes, is the area where he should focus that would provide potentially the biggest rate of return if he were to kind of successfully put Hillary Clinton on defense? Is it a particular issue sector,
Sure.
Or is it a personal matter?
I think it's twofold. I think he has to make the case that Secretary Clinton's issue positions are out of step on issues like immigration and free trade, that the WikiLeaks shows she's flip-flopped and been totally political, and that she's been completely corrupt and dishonest in her dealings, whether it be with her personal emails or with the foundation. If he can emphasize those two large themes over and over, he has a chance. Otherwise, I said last night on Sean Hannity's show that if he throws the kitchen sink at her, the only winner will be the Secretary of State.
Now, CNN was reporting early this morning that Hillary Clinton has been preparing for tonight's debate, probably more so than Donald Trump, but she's been going over all of the emails and the leaked emails so that she can be ready for Donald Trump's attack.
I think that's absolutely right. She has to be. I mean, some of those emails are pretty damning, and unless she has a reply, even a not-so-great reply, unless she has a reply, it's going to be very, very hard for her to answer why she has a private position, a public position, why she told Wall Street that they were of integral importance, and at other times said that they needed to be effectively prosecuted and be tougher on, why she flip-flopped on the issues. She's going to have to deal with all of that. There are answers. They're not great answers, but she does need answers.
Some commentators, including Glenn Beck, have suggested the possibility of a Bradley effect for Donald Trump, that there are people who are supporting Donald Trump who are afraid to tell pollsters or anyone else because they don't want to suffer the scorn that is associated with supporting Trump in so many circles. I know that's a difficult thing to measure if people aren't being honest with you, but what do you make of that contention?
Well, here's the way I see it, slightly different. I think that there are undecided voters who are not for the Secretary of State, probably not for Donald Trump either, but are more inclined to go with Trump to register a protest against Obama and Hillary against incumbency. And I think in that way the race could be somewhat tighter than it now shows. That being said, if going into Election Day the Secretary leads by 6 points or more, I'm pretty certain that she will in fact emerge victorious.
Why is it that the Clinton campaign, Hillary just did not want to, I know this is a pedestrianist too, but logistics, that she did not want her husband, Bill, to shake the hands with those in Donald Trump's family before the debate started like they did last time?
I think what the Secretary is trying to do is to avoid any sort of false showing of friendship, affection, to maintain hostility. Because, look, we know Donald Trump will do or say anything. He brought the 4 women to the last debate. He's bringing Obama's half-brother tonight. I think Hillary's basic attitude, and it would be mine too, is just stay away. There's nothing to be gained by demonstrating false politeness.
And do you suspect that the strategy that she will employ, in addition to what you said about her having to have answers, even if they're of medium quality, have to have answers to some of the WikiLeaks emails, to the FBI documents, that it's otherwise a four-corner strategy? Don't take any bait, don't take any chances. This is just about surviving to keep the race at the current trajectory.
I've used that same analogy with friends. Not everybody remembers Dean Smith. Not everybody remembers the four corners. But for the four corners to work, and I think that will be her approach, it's got to be disciplined and focused. There has to be clear answers on the personal allegations, on the political, the email, corruption, and where she stands on the issues. And if she does that and throws a few jibes at Trump, because the one thing about him, he takes the bait.
Yeah.
And if I were advising Trump, I would tell him, Donald, when she hits you on women or hits you on your business practices, say that's not the issue, Madam Secretary. The issue is the failure of the economy. The issue is Benghazi. The issue is the fact we're in, as the Wall Street Journal says this morning, 5 potential war zones in America. He's got to pivot back at her. He's proven that he can't do that or hasn't done that yet, and he needs to do it tonight.
So we should gird our loins and prepare for more sexual harassment talk to be coming up?
Oh, I think we will. Look, I think that almost certainly Chris Wallace, if only to prove his neutrality, will in fact throw that stuff at Donald Trump. And I also think that because he is a fair-minded person, Chris will also ask the secretary about Donald's charges of enabling women who President Clinton allegedly had relations with.
All right. He is Doug Schoen. He is a pollster, consultant, strategist, commentator on Fox News Channel, also the author of a new book we've discussed with him, Putin's Master Plan. And, Doug, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoyed the debate. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today looks great. Plenty of sunshine, some high clouds. That's terrific. It's fantastic. It's a high of 70 degrees. Then tonight, a low of 50 with a chance of a shower. And tomorrow morning, you could be greeted with a shower depending on where you live. And it's going to be brisk. It's going to be cold. More seasonable temperatures for this time of year. We're going to have a high of 59 degrees. anything normal on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, let's hope that inbound Kennedy has reached its high point. Right now, it's at 54 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. That is a high for the morning. The delay started Foster. It is quicker in the express lanes by 5 or 6 minutes. Outbound 40 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 20 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 38. The Eisenhower's an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. A full hour from Manheim. Outbound 46 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson 59 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42. The Rhine is 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Stop and go Lawrence to North Avenue and heavy 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State. Stop and go 115th to 31st and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Edwards Memorial still slow. International Parkway to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here, guys. When it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol numbers, but do you know your testosterone number? Yeah, your testosterone number. I know mine, thanks to my friends at Low T Center. Low T Center made it so easy for me. I walked in, took a simple blood test, and thanks to the convenience of their on-site lab, got my testosterone results in just 20 minutes. Voila! It was that easy. If you've noticed a decline in energy or stamina, a lack of motivation, or just a down mood as you've gotten older, you may very well have low testosterone. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, can even raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center treatment is covered by most health insurance, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm glad I did. You owe it to yourself to call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Give my friends at Low T Center a call and tell them I sent you. Call 630-409-4305 or go to lowtcenter.com.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Christopher Nowak, a real estate agent with Castline Properties here in Chicago. There's other competing lenders out there that have huge budgets to spend money on all kinds of ridiculous things, but at the end of the day, that money has to come from somewhere. It's coming from the borrower. So if you are looking to purchase a home and you want to get the best loan service, the best product available without all the extra costs, you'll call Townstone Financial.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
Holiday parties come in all shapes and sizes. Elegant plated dinners, festive cocktail hours, casual buffets, themed events, and more.
Tasty Catering is already decked out with the holiday spirit, featuring a brand new holiday catering menu and a team of event planners who are eager to help you experience a successful party of any kind.
So much more than amazing holiday catering, Tasty Catering has been helping companies plan their entire holiday parties from start to finish for decades. Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition.
Your event can be exactly what you envisioned. All you need to do is visit tastycatering.com or call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 and tell them your event date.
A planner will ask you about your holiday party goals and then help you reach them as simply and stress-free as possible.
tastycatering.com. Start your holiday planning with a company that Chicago trusts. Tasty Catering, 847-593-2000.
Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition. 847-593-2000.
AM 560, The Answer.
What song is this? Come on, let me test your music prowess. What is this? Is this from Starsky and Hutch?
I don't know. Sounds like something from Boogie Nights.
Oh.
Boogie Nights. Bone, Wiener, Bush, and Creamer.
Okay, it's so
Are
gross.
we stuck in a 50 Shades of Grey novel?
Really? I mean, think about it. Because yesterday we talked about Bone, Wiener, and Bush.
And today we've added Creamer.
Bush, and now we've got Creamer. It's so gross. So is it a law firm? My favorite line. We've never lost a case, but we've never tried one. Or is it what is this? What's going on in our world? I'm trying not to be juvenile, but it's low-hanging fruit.
It's like a low-hanging fruit. You did it again. It's just a talent agency in the San Fernando Valley is what it is.
Oh, it's quite peculiar, I'd say that.
And what was Bob Creamer's first wife's name?
His first wife's name was Day.
Day Creamer.
Day Creamer. Day. She's a Day Creamer.
Look, I know you're probably listening and thinking, oh, what are these? These are two are like a couple of grade school kids in the cloakroom. Yeah, that's right. We are, because that's what the presidential campaign has become.
And we had somebody, we talked about a election disorder anxiety. And that woman that called today, I mean, she was really suffering from it. She was traumatized by this whole election process. So tonight's the final and third debate. I can't wait for it because there's a lot of vacillation going on in this all over up in this thing here about who to vote for.
What are you talking about?
How
many times have you said I'm voting for the party? I'm voting for Trump. You've never said I'm voting for Hillary Clinton.
I've
you
never
haven't said that
I
once.
voted for Hillary Clinton. I would just write in somebody else or
I see.
not vote. You know, kind of what you're going to do for the Senate election, that portion of your ballot. Are you going to write in somebody or just vote for Tammy?
Skip the. I would never. I'm never voting for Tammy Duckworth. I'm never voting for a Democrat.
Okay.
And by the way, after these O'Keefe tapes, I've gotten some emails too, some texts. After the O'Keefe tapes, detailing how Bob Creamer, convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky, who, by the way, her opponent on our show yesterday, Joan Lasan, called for Jan Schakowsky to step down. A lot of uncomfortable questions for Jan Schakowsky to answer about her husband since he visited the White House 340 times since 2009. I mean, are you telling me you didn't know how your husband was earning his money when he's operating in your space? Come on, not credible. So Schakowsky has a lot of questions to answer too. But
do you think she should? I mean,
but after this is all detailed in video, people saying, I'm never going to vote for a Democrat again. You can, whether you agree with all the positions of the Republican Party or a particular candidate or whatever, you have people actively trying to take away your franchise by sending non-citizens to vote, by sending people who are not registered and are not legally allowed to be registered in a particular jurisdiction because they don't live there, for example, to vote. You've had McAuliffe in Virginia and Brown in California try and wave a wand and reinstate convicted felons' voting privileges en masse, which you can't do. It's a constitutional violation, and they're end-running it even after they've been chided by, for example, in Virginia, the state Supreme Court. So between the dead and convicted felons and non-citizens, I mean, there's your new Democrat Party constituency, and it's taking away the voting privilege, the voting rights of Americans. And you know, I mean, if that doesn't outrage you, just like the abrogation of the rule of law at State Department, of FBI, Department of Justice, then I don't know. Then you're lost, and we're lost as a country.
You know, I think Donald Trump did a great job yesterday or late last night in Colorado when he said this. He just warned people out there what America is going to look like if Hillary was president.
History will record that 2017 was the year that America truly lost its independence. Truly lost its independence. And by the way, this is our final shot, folks. In 4 years, it's over. You're never going to be able to win. You're never going to be able to win. It's tilting. It's going to be a one-party system. This is your final shot.
I'm not sure about the last part, but the first part about this is essentially the argument that is made by Victor Davis Hanson in a much more academic way, unsurprisingly.
Much more refined way.
But it's about institutionalizing this would be a Clinton 1 term or 2 terms would be institutionalizing 16 years of institutionalizing the undermining of the U.S. Constitution after the last 8 years. And that is not an easy thing to undo. 8 more years of codifying Obamacare and expanding it, because that's what Hillary Clinton wants to do, among the other abuses. So, I mean, there are real things at stake, and, we have to make some light of it because you have to, introduce some levity to avoid the weeping. But there are real issues at stake, and America's going to a dark place, as I continue to say, regardless of outcome. But it will be relatively much darker and much faster. Will it get much darker with Hillary Clinton as president?
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.